All right, we go. We good. Welcome back, everyone, to Finding Truth, episode 24 on Unscripted Truth TV on YouTube. Logan here with Austin, as usual. Should be a fun one. Quite a few topics to cover, a wide range, I would say. Nothing too focused or themed this week, but at the same time, some fun things to get into and give our takes on, and maybe present some gematria and some synchronicities and what have you. I know one major thing we're going to touch on is the Trump-Zelensky thing that's hot on everyone's plate right now. We're going to go over the recent NASCAR race and actually give a little bit more insight, or not, I guess not insight technically, but a little bit of insight, hindsight more than anything, from last week's race, because of course we get back-to-back winners if you pay attention to NASCAR at all. So we'll talk about that in lieu of some numbers and where we see things going for next week's race, which is another interesting one, which we'll talk about. We'll also cover the death of a Buffy actress, which was my sister's favorite show in high school, and I'll go into that because her story is more than just any normal girl's infatuation with that show. I do realize that it was popular with most girls, but I have seen every episode. I will admit I have seen it through my sister. I won't say she forced me to watch it, because I did sort of like it, ironically at first, and then I kind of watched it with her. But anyway, we have the youngest member of that cast. I do believe she was the youngest member of that cast, all time. She, of course, the first to die. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and it'll be kind of a tribute for my sister as well. Keep it relevant for her, at least if she catches up to our videos. And that another interesting thing to do with my sister, she pointed out just literally 20 minutes ago about this interesting moon landing that happened today. So we'll touch on that. We'll check in on the Pope. We'll do a welfare check on the Pope. But yeah, I think that just about covers the topics we have. There might be something that comes up where we keep it we stay on a swivel here, so whatever happens. We don't really have it too structured. This is unscripted after all. So without further ado, send it down to my boy Austin, see how his week's been going, and just get right into it.
Absolutely. It's been a very interesting week. We're finally to March. First episode of March, Big 24. It's kind of been a interesting week for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's from the weather. It's been almost like we went into summer. It's like March. It's like I felt like we were going into June, and whoa, kind of weird. But yeah, it was kind of a interesting week for a lot of different reasons. February ended up, the shortest month. The weather being astronomically warm and nice, kind of weird. It's been February is such a weird month. We had the coldest month and the snowiest month, and then it was the warmest month too to finish it off. Very, very impressive showing for the month of February. And I think this month there's a lot to say for it. March Madness. It's Moody March, March Mayhem. The Maybe March, the Marvelous March. All these sayings for this month. It's such an interesting month. Then it's kind of been just a weird week too, just figuring things out, like I said, with that job too, just kind of getting places with that, and working my way through the process and getting things done bit by bit. It's figuring out what I kind of got to do and stuff. It's been kind of yesterday was weird too, because it was the first day of March, and then like I said, I got this call too from my buddy back in Wisconsin. He's asking if I'm still alive, and it's oh, people are saying that you died, you killed yourself, and that you OD'd with with somebody's mom and did cocaine and overdosed and stuff. So there's all these rumors right now going around about me and stuff that I'm dead. I'm not
Going
even
out
here
like
anymore.
going out like a champion, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, that's some good stuff. Somehow I'm in Wisconsin overdosing with someone's mom right now. It's pretty cool. But
That's the Charlie Sheen right there.
yeah, it really is. But yeah, it's kind of, you just feel like a kind of like a, I mean, like this week was really interesting too. Like I felt like I had a really good like workout week. I felt really like good at the gym, and um, like I got a great workout. I felt like I felt super strong, had a lot of energy, and um, just kind of really just felt pretty sore after the week too. Just like I really had just like a great workout week, and it's kind of a interesting week for myself overall. It's kind of like anticipated though too. You know, us saying, you know, what was to come in here in March and April, and there was something coming. It kind of seems like it's here now, and like I said, I'm thinking it'll probably be like another month or two, and then I'll probably be starting with that other job and doing that too on the sides. And yeah, it's kind of just really interesting right now watching all these things just kind of come into play and um, work themselves out. It's kind of been I don't know, it's just the time's moving so fast. It's crazy to think we're already like, it's like before you know it, we're gonna be at the trampoline park bouncing around. It's like here it is already. It's just wild to think like where the time is going and all this. It's been yeah, it's kind of hard to it's just kind of hard to put into words like how this week and how the time feels right now. And um, I know too, like I said, at some point this month I have to make a tax appointment too for like April 1st and get that shit done. So it's like I'm kind of like doing small things at a time right now. It's kind of like that month where it's like I don't know where we are a month or two from now. It's just there's so much is just going to happen. It's just going to everything's just going to feel like such a blur. You know, you can just it just feels like we're on like light rails right now. Just it's crazy. Um, yeah, I'd say my week. Yeah, I feel like it's been a good week though. I feel like overall, at least for myself, I feel like it's been rather positive for the most part.
That's always good. I know that it's been a interesting news week. So yeah, it's good. It's good to take yourself. I know you've stayed relatively up on some of the major highlights in the news, but it's good to hear that you got you know you're doing things more at a personal level, putting more of an emphasis on that. Personally, for me, we are in the process of selling our old house, and we just got our first offer within the first week. It's been on the market too, with less than a week, so that's exciting. Hopefully, we can get our old house sold and taken care of, because that'll really determine us finally, feeling, I guess, at peace here. It's still weird having a house in Portland and here, and it just feels like a lot. And so yeah, that'll be nice to be taken care of. I've already started some projects. Of course, I couldn't do nothing in that 70-degree heat that just hit us
Yeah,
all of a sudden. So I went outside and I was doing some projects for the get our gardens and stuff ready, and some right now I'm in the process of building a fence and stuff like that. So fun stuff. But yeah, I know we wanted to touch on NASCAR, and another interesting, you got a back-to-back uh, winner with let's bring it up so people can see what I mean. But yeah, Mr. Christopher David Bell, back to back, wins the Better Health 400. Still a funny name to me. And then also the Echo Park Grand Prix. And I just want to point out one quick thing because I know we touched on this last week. We were noticing a pattern with cars and the finishes, the top three finishes, and you have two Toyotas and a Chevy. I mean, technically, four Toyotas and a Chevy in the top five. So if that's how far it goes, maybe that is, but top three at least was two Toyotas and a Chevy to start the season, two Chevys and a Toyota very next, and once again, two Toyotas and a Chevy top three. Well, actually, this time it was anyway. We never mind. Top three. Let's stick to top three because that is what we noticed. So I wonder if that trend continues, or if what would it take for a Ford to break through, and will those numbers be apparent? Will what would that end up looking like? See who are some oops.
Yeah, because last year I remember to start, it was like Chevy won like every race. Like Chevy was winning, and Toyota and Ford like weren't winning in the beginning of the year, and then they just started winning, and they were winning nonstop. So it's kind of like they were started taking turns. We might see something like that pop up here soon too.
Because I was gonna say you got I think predominantly Blaney and Logano, right? That are some of the higher average finishers for that race Fords in recent years, with Logano winning it last year, I believe. Um, but yeah, they haven't had very pretty finishes so far this season. It's a long season, but it's interesting how you know, you were talking. I didn't know all the details about this, and you were telling me kind of a bit about the point system and what the Cup Series, like how it determines who wins and how that works based on points and finishes and stuff. And I just think it's really weird that you have people, you can have people this early in the season almost cemented for the playoffs. It's such a weird dynamic. It's just like if there was in any other sport, I don't know. It seems odd. You just imagine like an NBA team being like cemented for the playoff 20 games in. It just is like, huh? It's weird. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, it really is. I mean, the way they changed it. I mean, um, like I said, I grew up watching like the Winston Cup and the old point system where you just whoever scored the most points all year won the championship. Is a real easy, simple system. Is just whoever's the most consistent all year won the championship. So you always had the right winner. I mean, who was most consistent. Like you didn't have to win a race all year. You could just have the best average finish and win it. Whereas now it's completely different. It all comes down to that last race between the four drivers. Whoever finishes the highest wins the championship. Or if you win the race, you'll win the championship. You just got to outbeat the other three guys you're competing, and it's completely different how they have, stages in the races, how it's broken down, the playoffs, the formats, the way they eliminate people, the rounds, the way they've changed it and stuff. It's really weird, and you can win a race too now in the season and still not make it because if there's so many people that have won a race, because there's only like 16 cars that make the playoffs, so you could have had 17 cars win a race, but whoever didn't have enough points and won a race didn't end up making the cut. So if you
hit
win
them with
more than
the
once, you'd be in if you win more than once. But sometimes if you win once, it might not be good enough unless you have enough points too. So they've kind of added different elements to it. So it's like you want to win maybe multiple times, or at least make sure you get one win to be in. Sometimes if there's not enough winners or there's a lot of repeat winners, you can still not even win a race and make it too. So it's kind of strange as well, like I say, because you have the points too you get from the stages. Each stage each week in the race, there's always a couple stages. So
yeah, I could see there being a lot similar to how the Seahawks season happened, where they were tied with the Rams in almost every way, even divisionally and all that's
yeah,
conference, but it was like point differential or some weird thing they had to bring up just to. So it's just I can see how it's like almost like hyper college. Even college now is on a pretty much NFL based playoff system, but they still do the bowl games, but they're more of the bowl games are playoff games. They're still intended as a playoff game rather than an end of season achievement now. But I could see there's a lot of room to shift things around.
Yeah,
What I'm
it's
trying to
like what
say is,
happened in 2011 because the championship came down to Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards, and it was a tie. They scored the same amount of points, but it went to Stewart because he had more wins than Edwards did. That's why they gave it to Stewart.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they that it seems like they're breeding a system to where there's, they'll always be able to have their guy because there'll be so many different variables that they'll make it happen. You'll have a four team or 4-person tie to get into the playoffs, and it'll be something you forgot about on in week 5 that this guy finished and the other guy lost a lap because of a flag came out or something like that, and it'll be something dumb like that, and that'll be the difference.
Yeah.
And so it just seems like they have there's a lot of variables to where that they can manipulate the eventual playoffs and then of course the winner, which is, I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying they're making the system so ambiguous that it's almost impossible to track. It's like they are doing that in every sport. In every, like I just mentioned, the NFL. The NFL, they're the odds that this would, I don't care how many seasons have been played so far. I don't care what Super Bowl this one was. These things are highly unlikely to happen. These things are very highly unlikely to happen in the current system. The fact that it's only ever like happened one time is proof of that. If it wasn't all scripted, but in the fashion that it happened with the Seahawks and Rams, it's just like there's always, they like to show you their hand and say, "Hey, how are you going to take this?" And nobody's going to care. And you just see the headlines with the Seahawks thing was just like, "Oh, Geno Smith hit a end of season thing, so he's going to get his bonus." It's just like, who cares about the players getting their signing bonuses? Since when is that like oh, thank God. Oh, at least my quarterback got his signing bonus. At least my quarterback, who has nothing to do with where I live, got his signing bonus. Whew. I can take this playoffs off now. I'm not even going to watch another game. We might as well have won the championship. Geno Smith got a signing bonus. We didn't make the playoffs, even though we were in every category tied with the team that did, but Geno Smith got his signing bonus. So, whew, you can scratch it. I'm a winner. I'm going to the water cooler Monday. Proud.
Yeah, and just like, it's so ridiculous is the obvious level of manipulation in all this too is, you go back to Daytona 500. The way that race ended, they let them race back to the line, which is what happened back in the old Winston Cup days too. You had the most consistent car all year that would win. Of course, that was back when Pontiac and Dodge and Ford and Chevy were all in it and stuff. And, whoever scored the most points all season would win. And the most consistent car always won, the championship. And then, you had the race back to the line when the caution came out. Now, the field's frozen. But if you look at the Daytona 500, they bended the rules. They let Byron race back to the line. And then you watched the second race last week at Atlanta. They threw the caution like, it was still like a half to quarter of the lap left, and Bell probably wouldn't have won the race if that caution didn't come out. Maybe he finishes 4th or 5th or something happened. So it's like, where they throw the caution, and if they're going to throw a caution to get the people they want to win, when they're going to throw it, who's going to be in the lead, and what they're even going to call a caution, and then you have Bell, winning 2 in a row. Byron goes back to back in the 500s, and Byron almost won 3 races in a row too, because he was in contention to win last week too, and then he got in that crash with like 5 to go, he got in that crash. He could have almost won that race, and then he finishes second here too. So it's all about William Byron right now. Really strong start to this season for him. Almost 3 wins in a row, and Bill gets 2 in a row.
Yeah, they're definitely. This is me from the outside looking in. I just remember. Who was the last like major dominant one? I think he raced. Was it Napa? Didn't he win like? Didn't someone like three-peat?
Napa, yeah. Well, Chase Elliott usually drives the Napa car now.
It's not Chase Elliott.
Michael Waltrip used to drive the Napa car.
Was it a Kyle? Not Kyle Busch. Oh man, I can see his face. It's been NASCAR's been around a long time. It might be rough to look that up. Oh man, I feel like he had a super memorable name if you were paying attention to the sport.
Napa know-how.
Let's see. You want to drive for Napa? Yeah, I'm looking for a job. Previous. I swear it was Napa. I could be completely wrong though. Was it Jimmy Johnson?
Oh, he drove the Lowe's.
Lowe's. No, it was Lowe's. You're right. Yeah. Wasn't he like
he won. Yeah, he
dominant?
won 5 in a row. Yeah, he won 5 in a row.
There you go.
Yeah.
But my point. Sorry, you got way off track. I see his face now. That's the face I saw. I just remember on Sports Center back in the day when I used to watch that, just the highlights that it was, they've kind of painted the sport as a 5-man possible winner at the start of the season. Like it's really tough to get a dark horse to actually win the whole thing. That you're going to have these competitors have these types of seasons where, case in point, I remember when like Jimmy Johnson, there was like there's always a rivalry, and I could see that they're potentially like building up this rivalry right now with I think relatively young. How old is Byron? Yeah, Byron's only 27, and of course Bell's 30. So you have these like young stars. I could see them, building up this dynasty. They love making dynasties. Sports are all about dynasties. They're all about storylines. What's going to make the documentary? What's going to make the movie? What improbable stats can they get people to pull off within a span of 6 or 7 years that rewrite the book for themselves? There's nothing. This is every single sport. Look at the NBA. It's we just go. There's always a main superstar, and then there's the supporting cast. It is a cast of people. Trust me, this is a complete cast. That's why they're all in Space Jam together. There's NFL. You look at it the same way. You look at these dominating teams, and of course we've had Brady and usually it's headed off with a quarterback, and then you have this supporting cast as we've seen it with the Antonio Browns, the Chad Johnsons, the Marshawn Lynch's, these, you have all these dominating figures in each position, but really what it comes to, what they paint is that you have these powerhouses at the beginning of the season that they'll use that as a rivalry story, and people will have something to keep them on the edge of their seat, and to really buy into the season. And I can see this already starting 3 races in. I can already see a potential storyline for clear until November, them running this, with Byron hasn't won. How close has Byron gotten? Do you know off top?
He finished third the last 2 years in
Third?
the championship. Yeah.
That's the storyline. That's like, they love showing you how you got this progression. And then what about Bell? He seems.
Yeah, I think his best finish was like fourth 2 years ago. I think he finished right behind Byron. So yeah, he's always in it too.
You can say 2 years ago that they were just, this is the same thing. They love doing this. They'll always put a young team in the playoffs. If you watch basketball, there's always a young team that makes it, always. And I can say that because a lot of the times it was the Trailblazers, and that's the team I was a fan of back in the day. But we were always rebuilding. But sometimes we'd be better than others and we'd make the playoffs. But we have a average roster that's younger than all the other teams, and they'll be like, they're not experienced, but we'll make it to the Western Conference Finals, and they'll be like, wow, this is a big step for them, and then like that will be the propellant to make it farther later on. That's like the proof of the storyline. It's like, look, they passed the first round 3 years ago with this team. Now they're more melded together. I'm giving you storylines. This is not real. This is not reality. You don't go hoop at the gym with the same 4 people and all of a sudden become an NBA team. I mean, maybe, but anyway, yeah, it's just these storylines are things they love using, these young stars that are ready to take the stage, that they're going to be the changing of the guard. That's really what it comes down to. And the changing of the guard is also highly Masonic. This is a big thing in Masonic ritual is, yes, the old guard does stick around. They truly do. They really never give up. They only ascend higher, until they actually physically die, which who anyway. You look at some of these high up Masons and you look at their like death dates, it's like, damn, maybe the Crusades really did find the fountain of youth or something, or at least some darker stuff. But anyway, yeah, they do change changing of the guard is a very like ritualistic. What's the word? It's like a festival. They make like a festival of it. It's like a very time-honored tradition type thing, and they take it seriously. And these sports leagues are ran by Masons. I would say, I wonder if NASCAR has any affiliation with Masons. But look at the next race; it's at the Shriners Children's 500. So if you're curious, I don't think that's an accident. I don't think they're just they're just such a great organization as the Shriners Hospital. Just let's never mind that they're, high level Masons that are Shriners. But so yeah, I think, these scripts play out similarly. And I think where we're looking at is the changing of the guard. Look at what they're doing to Logano. He hasn't had a good finish at all this season. And in which case they could, they also love doing that with like the stars. They'll say, rough start to the season, but they'll just come flying back. So look out for that. Look to throw him in the mix about midway through the season, and he'll like pick up some steam. Maybe Bush as well. Chase Elliott, some of the Reddick, maybe he's won, hasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like look for these guys to maybe start winning some races middle of the season to like shake it up a bit and give some adversity to the young guns. But I'm just trying to point out like the narratives that I have ingrained into my head through all sports. They love doing these types of things, and when you watch enough of it, it may be hard when you're in it and you're really believing it, it might be hard to see. But once you've taken a few steps back, you can start to see these scripts involved in not just sports and in everything that you're meant to take in.
Yeah, I mean it's in NASCAR is something where like I was saying, I mean that they're trying to set the stage, get the people, in the playoffs that they want to get in, and um they always have that set to go. Like I said, Byron, last 3 years, Penske's won it, Logano won it 2022, 2024, and he won it back in 2018. Um and Blaney won it in 2023. So Byron getting third the last 2 years. So yeah, it's gonna be, so Ford and the Mustangs won 3 in a row. So it's gonna be real interesting to see how they play it out this year. Uh, it will, they're trying to go 4 in a row. So, or will it be, like Byron, or who's going to win the championship? Or will it be a Toyota or something? So we might get a switch up. Because it's kind of been, I mean, it's really just been uh, Hendrick and Penske since the 2020s. Because Chase Elliott won in 2020 with Chevy. Kyle Larson won in 2021. He was Chevy. And it's been Ford 2022, 2023, 2024. So, is it Toyota's year to get it? Is it, Chevy to get back to it? Or is Ford going to get 4 in a row? Or so it's kind of a very interesting gear. Um, and with the race coming up next week too, being in Phoenix as well, and that's also the last race of the season where the championship is crowned as well. Something to really pay attention to. It's very interesting how they
Great point.
put all that together.
Yeah, and then let's see. Obviously March 9th. So just off the date alone, there's some interesting 3993 connections to maybe talk about. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind with that date being could be written 93 or like 93 is uh, Saturn. And this might take some more research from on my part to what the Shriners are all about. But I do want to bring up really quick that I don't think it's coincidence. I don't know if this is a every year type of race. It's the Shriners Children's 500 an every year race, or do certain races get sponsored differently every year?
Yeah, it's kind of they like to kind of change things up, move things around. Like the Pennzoil 400, like that's a pretty common one. Like the Pennzoil, that's pretty popular. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've heard of this one before, honestly.
Well, if this is the first Shriners Children's 500, leave it in the comments below or let us know or email us, whatever. But I can always look into it more. I just want to bring this back to earlier this year with all those plane crashes, because the plane crash that it was like a health bus that crashed. I think that was the one in Philly. It was just a mother, daughter, and like two other. It was like a medic and the pilot. They all died. Well, this mother had been taking her daughter to Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia uh, for treatment in America. They're from Mexico. So I do find it interesting that, the Shriners are hitting the headlines twice, because it was a little bit buried in the headlines. I definitely looked that up and thought that it was strange that, this was like an overlooked detail that, she was getting treatment at the Shriners Hospital. But I think Shriners are probably mostly misunderstood and mostly considered like eclectic, eccentric older dudes that are involved in masonry, yes, but they really just, like throwing parades and doing nonprofits, which who's to say how nonprofit these organizations that function under the Shriners, umbrella really are. But I do find this interesting, and I would hazard a guess that there is a connection from that plane crash to this, and that might even be a clue to maybe a major crash happens in this that we've seen it already happen this season. Uh, plane crashes and car crashes that they have very similar storylines. Of course, one they're both it's not automotive. They're not both automotive. I can't think of they're both vehicular crashes. They read very similarly. Obviously, you rarely get anyone dying in a NASCAR crash, but it's just it's just crash. It's just they love getting their crash in, and yeah. So we'll see about this Shriners Children's 500. But I know one thing in Gematria that we touched on last week was just Christopher Bell's name, Bell, and because we were mentioning this because he won on the 23rd of February, and his name equals 23 in reverse with reduction. But as you know, the rest of the world writes March 2nd 2/3. So another signal that potentially, if we were like, maybe keying more in on that, or just like his name Gematria or his last name Gematria, that would have made more sense last week. I think it kind of slipped my mind that the next race would be on March 2nd. But, you get back-to-back winner on the 23rd and on the 2nd of March. So just by his name alone kind of gave away their plans for him, apart from potentially anything else.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they got that 2-3 in there. How he wins the 23rd, wins on March 2nd, 2-3, 3-2. How they just put that in there like that, and it's amazing. It's always just so in your face. I mean, just these winners, how they're getting them every week. I mean, 2 rain delays the last 2 years. They don't have 500. Rain 24. The 24 car wins both of them. All the things that went into that as well, like we talked about. Like I said, Christopher Bell driving the 20. Kurt Cobain's birthday 220, and 0 Day came out on that day. So yeah, the mockery is real high. The bell is tolling. The bell is tolling for sure.
Mm-hmm. See that 33 there, and it's in numerology at least. Get rid of the 0 of that 330. Interesting. Yeah. I was just speaking on masonry, and that is a venerated number for sure within masonry. It's the 33. Obviously, there's 33 degrees, and it goes far beyond just the degrees in Scottish Rite as well. You talk about the vertebrae and all that good stuff, but I think that'd be on a more focused episode. Which I do want to say just briefly, real quick. I do want to get to maybe some more themed episodes. That I've been kind of missing that. I know there's headlines always to cover, but I really do think that we do some of our best work when we're covering like a themed episode. Just want to throw that out there because we haven't done one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be perfect because our next episode's 25. It's 2025. All the 25s we got right now. So, yeah, next week it's gonna be. We got to think of maybe a 25 theme or something. Maybe something with numbers, or maybe just think of something throughout the week.
So our quarter centennial or quarter mark, or quarter of 100 at least.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real interesting episode. It's kind of weird how all these episodes have been kind of lining up too, and we had the like with the 23 last week, and then and then him equaling 23 and everything, and him winning on the 23rd, and all these. It's just like it's just amazing how like everything is just so lined up with always each episode. The numbers are always there to fit perfectly.
And then of course we had the Byron winning with the which governor was that? Was it? It wasn't
Billy.
yeah, Bill Lee.
Yeah.
What state was that?
William Byron. Yeah.
Yeah, his name being William Byron, but that is just, man, I still get a little bit of hair standing on him. That was so.
Yeah, that was on the
funny.
that was on the 16th. Yeah, February.
So yeah, there's definitely, you know, things at play in each race that point to exactly what we're talking about. And you know, it's one thing to come at it with hindsight like we have been. I think a lot of that has to do with just mainly with our busy schedules and not able to, you know, really track these things as much as might be necessary. But the other interesting thing is with hindsight, you see how simple this is. You really do see how simple it is. You got a guy whose name equals, you know, 23. He wins on the 23rd and 3/2.
Yep.
Or yeah, sorry, 2/3. So it really can be that simple. And as you know, I think I truly think the whole William Byron one was also simple. It just takes enough understanding about how they'll tell you without straight up telling you sometimes. And like, you know, if you paid attention to our 2 episodes ago, near the end, when we figured out this whole William Byron riddle, when he won, man, what state was that? I gotta look it up real quick. Tennessee. You get the Tennessee governor. The riddle is that you have 3 states in a state of in a state of emergency from flooding, but only 2 of them issue a state of emergency. So you have these headlines going out to where they buried Tennessee. Basically, it's like you wouldn't even know Tennessee had insane flooding. They had really bad flooding too. They didn't issue a state of emergency though. So you have the one governor who doesn't issue a state of emergency. It's just Bill. It's just Bill. Don't got to worry about Bill. Come to find out, his name's William Byron. The same week William Byron wins. It's just so. Sometimes the riddle can come down to. It's like a non-omission. I don't know how to phrase it. It's like they're omitting it from the headlines, but if you have discernment to see, because there's no numbers attached to the other 2 governors with that race, obviously, and then, you know, not to mention he has the same exact name, but you know, it can be something like that too, or it's rather than it just being, you know, blatant and right in your face, they have this ritual with this other governor, similar to that Mike Duggan, the Detroit mayor, who, you know, got to do his photo op when Detroit was, you know, having their disaster where the giant water main breaks and flash freezes within hours, and within just as many hours as it took to happen, he has 4 different contracted groups all named and all taking photo ops. And it's just like, look at this order out of chaos. If you guys aren't familiar with order out of chaos, you get to watch it. They love showing you. Look at how good we are doing for our communities. Oh yeah, I'm sure you didn't pad your pockets by those 4, you know, with the, you know, CEOs of those 4 contracted businesses, the cleanup and the you know, sewer maintenance crews. I'm sure that you weren't getting a kickback from that commission. I'm really so sure. I'm sure when the, you know, federal money comes in, you're not pocketing any of that for being the key envoy for, you know, signing that in to allow it to happen, which is what mayors supposedly are there to do, is to push forward legislation for the cities and or the city, their city and their individual counties within said city. And it's really just a phase of bureaucracy that needs to be phased out. And I've been living in Portland where we have, I believe the mayor is still Ted Wheeler. Oh no, it's a new mayor. Okay. Very recently. Before this, it was Ted Wheeler, and you look these people up, and it's really quite fascinating. I'll just real quickly, his he if you've ever heard of Wheeler, Oregon, it's in like Eastern Oregon area. That's actually of his namesake. His grandfather like founded that town, and he founded it on corruption and and an insurance scam. It was very similar to the Titanic, just on micro scale. He had a tugboat business like very early on, where steamboat type tugboats. But he had this mishap happen where he had this really promised tugboat that was supposed to be doing its job or whatever, but the whole crew, like it sunk and all the crew died, and he made out like a bandit. And he becomes insanely rich and profits off of this disaster. And I just want to point out, Wheeler, Oregon equals 201. So I don't think that's any coincidence. But yeah, so if you ever end up in Wheeler, it has like a population. It's like super low, like a thousand people population. He is a lord. Ted Wheeler is a lord. He is the definition of a lord. He's an actual lord in Oregon, and he just happens to be the mayor. No, this is how it works. When you look into these things, there's no reason Mike Duggan, his little pudgy butt, should be any mayor or in any kind of authoritative office. And it really is sick that we're still living under these like crown regimes. I know this is a little bit off of NASCAR, but it's something I think that there's definitely, we should be paying no heed to our mayors and governors. Just the idea of a governor, like that is okay, massa. All right, massa. Like a governor, the definition is governing you. Okay. No thanks.
Yeah, it's just how these things even become a thing. It's like, I mean, it's no different than popes, presidents, whatever. I mean, just all these things, just people just put them above them. Whether it's even their own military, whatever. It's just it's crazy. It's like you said, they talk to you in NASCAR. I mean, it's the way they do things. I mean, it's just like it's no different than, like I said, in 2001, you had Earnhardt's death and stuff, and then you had 9/11. 10 years later, like I told you, I
Hey,
brought up.
real quick, that is a correlation. Lots of plane crashes this year. This might be a Dale Earnhardt season. Yeah, I I mean, think of all the plane crashes that have happened, and now we got car crashes, and that's how Dale Earnhardt died. Just want to throw that out there. I totally forgot about the main plane crash. I mean, there's no bigger plane crash than 9/11. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. There very well could be. We could get one of these stories. Someone get died or injured in a crash or something. And then you could have too. I mean, it's just the way they have it. It just there's so much that could happen, and the way they go about, like you said, how they just talk to you. I mean, it's just the way they structure the sport, the people that are in it, how things go. I mean, um, like I said, there was the Earnhardt death, and then I think the closest anyone's ever like really kind of came to dying, like the worst accident I ever seen was like at like Bristol of like 2002. There was this crash where this car got literally ripped in half. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but literally the guy was literally like out in the racetrack, like that his car was gone. Like he just literally stood up and just he was on the ground, like stood up and he was just walking around like he couldn't even get out of his car because his car was gone. It was just like uh there was another crash like that. Like there was like a Michael Waltrip crash in 1990 where he hit the wall and like ripped his car. But like yeah, this was a crash where it was like people should question um this and like how
In the 44 car.
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's insanity.
Yeah, those NASCAR cars are not made for collisions. They're purposely not. That would all that kind of stuff weighs cars down. They forego all that stuff. The roll cages is supposedly, you know, super stout and able to absorb can't speak the collision, whatever. But as for the car, no, those things just disintegrate. They're literally made with the things that are as light as possible by design, as you just saw.
Yeah, that car just caught at the edge of the concrete wall there. Bristol has had that concrete wall exposed, and the car hits that and gets ripped in half. Um, the old cars are so much safer too. And the new cars, if that was a new car, it probably would have just who knows what would have happened. I mean, it's crazy. Just like I said, how like the quality and like how everything's just gone down. It's like, and then you look at like the Dale Earnhardt death. It's like, yeah, he died because he didn't have or wear a Hans device, and then
Didn't a
you see how
fan die in a crowd from a tire once?
yeah, quite possibly. There's been some fan injuries from some wrecks. There's been fans injured from crashes and um, things flying through the fence and car parts and stuff. That does happen from time to time.
Interesting. Well, any thoughts on next week? 3-9, 9-3. I guess we can run a little bit of a gematria just of some names real quick. Personally, I forgot William. It's got the 72. Also the let's see. Who's your pick as it stands?
It's kind of hard to say. Maybe Ford will get a win too. They might get their first win of the year. It might even be the person. I mean, it might be a sign of who wins this race later to come this year, and maybe wins a championship too, all together. So it'd be an interesting race.
Wonder if there's any like Philly natives that are that race. That might be interesting with this being the Shriners 500 and that plane crash in Philadelphia. It's definitely it's 2T's. It's definitely something to he's got the 129 in his name. That's interesting to watch out for. Definitely something I gotta do, kind of index these things in my own time. You do have right now Reddick with 39 points or 39 points last race going into same with Chase Elliott. Got both these guys with 39 points.
Yeah, and Reddick took 4th last year in the championship, so he might be someone to watch this year too. Drives at 45, and the square root of 2025 is 45.
Good
So
point. Very good point. And that'd be Toyota's breakthrough, right?
Will Bell's already won twice for Toyota, so
Well, I mean,
yeah, it'd be for
if he
his.
were to finish, if he were to win this season, right?
Yeah.
Zone Auto.
It's not AutoZone, it's the Zone Auto.
Get in the auto. Zone Auto. I used to work at AutoZone.
You were the delivery driver.
Yep. I sure was. And speaking of NASCAR, I used to race around in those cars. It's fun. I mean, I never breached the speed limit. I was always careful. Oh yeah, there's Reddick as well. How do you spell his first name? Tyler. Was it? Yeah. A lot of 62s throughout. I'm noticing. Maybe not a lot. Maybe it's just a couple. Let's go through some of these people. Let's look at their December 16th, November 29th. Did I already think about this? Maybe not. Elliot and Belle's birthdays are one day apart.
Very interesting, yeah.
It's my boy's birthday. May 9th. Woo. 5995. That's get out of here. We're not going to get a Gilliland win this year. Sorry, buddy. Close. Just more chases. Chase.
All these guys look the same age too. Like, look at that, 30
Yeah, I
years
noticed
old.
that. Yeah.
All their birthdays are about the same.
Oh, Ricky. It's a bit older. A lot of winter birthdays.
Yep.
For whatever that it's worth. I think Denny Hamlin's making a comeback either. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. September 2nd, close. Well, nothing. I don't think that is too. And for these things happen throughout the week, and I don't think rarely is it something that's 4 weeks out. There might be a connection like overall for the season, but as we found out, these things happen like the week of. You had the flooding that happened that week, and um, of course the date and the day of the month and the date. Those are things that you maybe could have forecasted ahead of time. but that's not to say that it's that clear every single time.
Right. It's like who thinks, William Byron's going back to back in the 500, especially when he's like in ninth place in the last lap. It's like, who thinks, Christopher Bell's just going to get 2 in a row. It's just like,
Did you
then it's
know
like,
Bubba Wallace's name was William too? Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah,
God. But yeah, I mean, I thought there was potential for him to have a good finish at least once in February. No reason. But yeah, not so. That's one, I just woke up on March 1st and I was just like, back to normal America. Oh, thank God that's over with. Woo, back to just regular old, good old normal America. That whole February thing is rough. I'm just kidding. Um, man, yeah, you're right. I mean, the amount of, right around 30, and that were these all popped out of test tubes around the same time? Like, was this all a similar, test batch of kids? Because like they all have winter birthdays too. It's really strange. I saw there was a May sprinkled in there, and other than that, I think other than that May birthday, they've all been winter birthdays that I've looked up so far.
yeah. And just look at that name. I mean, William, Daryl, Bubba, Wallace Jr. I mean, it's like the same names we just keep getting over and over in all the
Yeah,
categories.
Daryl. Was it Waltrip, or was that one of them?
Yeah, and you got the Wallaces, you got Daryl Waltrip, you got Rusty Wallace, you got
Oh yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. So you got a mix of that, and you get a
I got my
Bubba,
William
my
Byron.
big, my big Bubba.
Yeah, they try to make it like that. That's a good point though. That because whether this guy ever wins, he's already won. He was in the headlines for like 3 months straight. Not even just for being the a black NASCAR driver, but he was tied to that whole thing with they said that they found a noose in his garage. Someone like put a noose in his garage or something like that. Hey, did you
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah,
Didn't and this was very similar to that what's that guy? The guy who was on damn it. The guy who said that he was beaten in the streets of, I think, Chicago, when he went out to go get Subway at like 3 in the morning in like negative 15-degree weather. Just, a high paid actor, just like, no, I'm just gonna walk there. And then he got jumped by like white people yelling white power, and they like poured stuff on him and tried to like put a noose around his neck and stuff like that. But if come to find out, it was two Nigerian dudes, and they were like paid to do it. Oh shit, that was classic. I mean, it's all a joke. It's all those Nigerian guys went on a podcast tour. I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck is happening, guys? Like, what? Who would want them to interview? Like, what is this shit? It's like, even there's no level of infamy that excludes you from the limelight. It's what it's all about. It does not matter. I mean, I think we all know that it's just like you have these things, these stories that go bad, and all that does is put them into your subconscious to where when the next time you hear them, you might associate them with that negative thing, but you think of them as somebody who's in the sphere of influence. So you just allow them to stay there. And that's really the game. I think to my point, I think it's something that people can do. They can break into the industry through negativity. But I do think it still requires some sort of signing on some sort of dotted line that says you're going to continue this, or you're going to, you know, toe the line once you get in here. But I do think that you can break in through just straight up negativity. And you see that through streaming, like all the things that, look at the worst of my namesake, Logan Paul, he films, supposed people dead in a Japanese forest, and he's the most popular streamer for the next 10 years. It's just like, what? And he'll always be associated with that, but do they bring it up every time, every podcast, every fight of his? Do they bring it up? No, nobody says anything about that shit anymore. So it incentivizes this craziness. And so, yeah, like to my point, Bubba Wallace already won. He doesn't need to win a single race.
Yeah, I mean, he had that feud too, or that rivalry where they were Kyle Larson, and Larson got like fired or lost his rider's job there for that year or whatever. Then he came back and then he won that championship there in 2021 and stuff. So, yeah, he was already kind of in the spotlight for that. It's kind of pretty much everyone knows Bubba for. I mean, what is, he barely wins, so it's like he's just kind of known for that one incident. It's kind of like what they do with some people. It's like you're just going to the scapegoat for this too, and especially too because he's black, and then it costs Larson that year his ride, everything. He gets wins a championship, so it's kind of like you get the tail of both ends from it as well. Just got to make the storyline.
I guess one thing we could say is anyone who's 31 of the list we went through, they are born in 93. So there's that like 9/3 to go with March 9th. Maybe that's a little bit of a reach. I don't think Bubba's winning next week, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he dominates the race.
He's got the William.
We knew he had it in you, but it's that William. He had that William in you.
I mean, technically as well, his middle name is a D, which kind of that Rockefeller that goes back to that anime I was talking about a while ago when we did the Great Wall of China episode. Still one of my favorites that we did. But yeah, the D's, that's like a big theme in One Piece. Is there's like people who are special that are, they're not all related or anything like that. It's just like throughout history, the people with D's in their name or in their middle name as their middle name are like special. And obviously, I think that is a big nod to the Rockefellers in our current world. But there's also, John D, the like court wizard for the Parliament of the British Kingdom, who, inspired the likes of Aleister Crowley and all. It just goes on and on and on. But yeah, the D middle name. Just pointing that out.
It's got the big M there, the big McDonald's there for Trumpy too.
Yeah, it's like the 6th. I mean, that endorsement in and of itself is pretty crazy for a team that doesn't, or for a driver that doesn't win, because this is like the 6th richest company in America, and it's just like you can tell this was in the grand scheme, this is more of a placement. This is big. His body is the biggest product placement for them, not him ever winning. The McDonald's driver was front and center in the news more than any. It takes Bell winning to ever put Ream on the map. Yeah. Who the hell knows that? Like, I think I've seen that before. I don't know what it is. It's like, are they like locksmiths or something? Like, I don't know what it is, but maybe they make oil or something like that. But there's no guessing about McDonald's. You know what I mean? Isn't that interesting how you have these winning racers, drivers that have these sponsorships and endorsements? Yeah, they're still, I'm sure, multi-million-dollar companies, but they're not McDonald's. But yet McDonald's is like, yeah, let's put it on the one black driver. I'm sure the bidding to have his the endorsement on him was solely because of his skin color and the narratives that were going to be pushed in his, because of that throughout NASCAR. And before long, just don't even bat an eye. Before long, it'll be just like any other sport. I can promise you that he is just the shitty one they start with. And I'm not trying to be like exclusionary at all. I don't care that all of NASCAR could be black by tomorrow, and I will not care. I'm just saying it's a concerted effort. That it won't be naturally. That's my point. It won't be naturally, and it's not because black people can't race cars. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. And that's my issue. Is that it has nothing to do with the actual sport at all. And it never will. Go to your local gym. I mean, anywhere that's predominantly mixed society, and you'll see hoopers no matter what their skin color, it'll be a mixed bag. Never are you going to see this like complete and utter domination of one race at any like gym where pickup basketball is prevalent. That's my personal experience. So, but you watch the NBA and it's just like, God damn, God damn, it's rough out there for those white boys there. And then, but you get the they're unicorns now. That's what they call them because they're white and they're mythical figures because they don't really exist on that often. But you have like Jokic and certain Doncic, of course, the bunch of itches. They're Slavic white people. There's no white people in America that can ball out with black people. Yeah, that's what we're led to believe. They're always got to be European of some sort. It's quite strange the narrative that they like to push forth in these sports, but it is what it is. I could care less. I'm well aware of the superior athleticism naturally that black people have. I do not need to be educated on that.
Asian people too. Asian people are the strongest people on the planet, pound for pound. So you never want to mess or fuck with an Asian, that's for sure. But
yeah, I had some.
they have like literally every like pound for pound strongest like world record there is like all held by Asian people. It's just like insane how strong they are and how like their moves and everything they can do. It's just like it's crazy. Um, all the different it's like Samoans are big and strong too and powerful and just like there's all these different races and they all have their um, special power, whatever they're good at it ever. But yeah, it's and too how we were saying because doesn't Bubba drive the 23 right because it's all about 23 Bell 23 wins on the 23rd wins on 2-3 3-2
Any races for 23 XI?
and drives the 23.
Hmm.
Maybe they're going to continue with the 2-3-23 next. It's like he does win Phoenix.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the damn state itself. I know some of the Arizona numbers. Arizona on 3-9. Whoo! Well, I should have started with that. I don't think that's any coincidence. Let's just do this. 203, Phoenix, Arizona. Dude, if Bo Wallace wins, I'm gonna have to stitch this because that'd be good. That'd be good. And it would be also just so funny that it'd be right after Black History Month. Well, I guess technically this was the first race, but it's just still right outside of the month, really.
Yeah, it's like can Bubba pull off the upset? Can he pull off the big shocker here?
But
William Wallace.
oh wait, dude, William Wallace is like a yeah. Interesting.
Died August 23rd.
23rd. Oh, that's right. He's what Braveheart is made after. That's that character is William Wallace with Mel Gibson. Oh my goodness. See, why do they hide people's names? This is why they hide their name. It's because there is something else going on here. Scottish, he's Scottish, and you have the Shriners 500 this week with the Masons. Dude, God forbid this happens, dude. Put $1 on Bubba.
Yeah,
Put
no, dude,
$1
I
on
have to
Bubba.
now, dude.
Oh, that's crazy. It's at least interesting. I mean, not to say that this will be how it turns out, but it's interesting. You're completely right. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, just look at his name though. It's so weird. William William Wallace,
Daryl Bubba
Daryl,
Wallace.
William Daryl. I mean, what kind of name is that? I mean,
Oh, my name was long. That's just for
William Daryl Bubba in parentheses Wallace
because of
Jr.
this nickname, but still, that's how they write it.
Daryl.
What's it? 2 R's, 2 L's.
And he's got the junior too. Like he's a junior,
Yes.
like Dylan
I
Hart
mean,
Jr. He's
Junior,
already got
yeah,
all the names.
they literally just conglomerated everything together. It's quite funny when you mentioned it. Yeah, 153 like William Byron. Interestingly, with Bubba, oh wait, no, 99 like America's birthday or founding.
Yeah, William Daryl Wallace. WDW. What is it without the junior in it?
Oh, I could also spell out Junior real quick. Just want to see.
206.
Yeah, his name has the 171 without the junior, like William Byron too. 153 with it. William Byron. Or without the Bubba. Anyway, could be coincidental there.
It's like Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. The Bubba. Big Bubba.
Bubba. Oh, Bubba.
Get the tables, Bubba. Get the tables, Bubba.
It's just such a southern name. I mean, obviously, I think NASCAR. People understand that NASCAR is probably like most celebrated in some of the southern states. I think so. Like the whole Panhandle in Florida, it's like really big down there.
Oh
I think it
yeah.
has been since its inception. And it's just Bubba. Bubba. It's so hard to even think of someone saying Bubba without some sort of like drawl to it. Yeah, this is definitely worth looking into. I didn't even think about that. William Wallace. He had to say it, and then I was like, wait a minute. The Scottish Warrior.
WW.
Pretty sure he was a Templar. I have not seen that movie actually. How tall was William Wallace really? Yeah, that's what we all come to know. Want to know. 6'7". Interesting. What's Scottish got that 32?
Yeah.
I should remember that more. Let's real quick. Let's do a quick. No, I don't want to. I don't care about the damn hospital. Based on fun, fellowship, and the Masonic principles of brotherly love, relief, and truth. I'm so sure. I mean, this symbol really just says brotherhood, relief, and fun and truth. You know what I mean? The scimitar. I mean, what are they trying to say here? They're like Arabian, Egyptian moon work, crescent worship, Pentagon, Egyptian. Like what? They wear the fez too, the little tiny hat. That's something they're known for. Hey, at least it's a PNG. I can use this later. Got some like white pharaoh figure with like feminine features, if you were to ask me. And then they got like this like radar sonar within the star. What are you saying here, guys? What part about this is like fun? It's almost like an acid trip picture because there's like faces and things that I'm seeing. Like this looks like a droopy like face.
Yeah, I was gonna say I seen that too. It looked like a face.
This
Or
kind of
yeah.
looks like the silhouette of a wolf that you'll see howling at the moon. And then this just looks like an emoji, like a, I don't know what kind of emoji that would be, but it's interesting. Oh, thanks. There's their nice little fez. Templar crosses, naturally. Actually,
He looks so happy to be alive.
yeah, Lunar's 30. I was going to say there's some 33 connection with the moon. Yeah, Lunar's 33.
It's so weird too. Whenever you see like old pictures like that, you never see anybody like smiling. It's just like they always draw them just like straight face.
Case in point. I mean, what are these? The sacrifices? Why they got these like? What was that show back in the day? What was that show? It was surrounded around this like genie lady. Oh, I Dream of Genie. That was the name of the show. But that's she wore things like this, the like cloth things that like attached to her like here. She was fine. This is way back in the day though. It's like I used to watch that at my grandma's house. Let's see. Daughters of the Nile. Yeah, they're clowns, all right.
Yep. Down with the clown. Clown down. 23.
So 67 too, like William Wallace's height.
Yeah.
Are clowns known to be tall? That's all they got for us. Huh? This is all you need to know about them. So yeah, they're all master masons. If you didn't know, these are like basically people who I think they're still affiliated with their Masonic lodges, but they're of course they are, but they basically like ascended to this like fun only category supposedly. Like that's literally what they're all about: fun, fellowship, and Masonic princes, and blah blah blah. And so all they do is like they put on parades and they head up non for profits like the Shriners hospitals and stuff. Is known for its colorful Middle Eastern theme. Oh, I'm sorry, you can just appropriate cultures and it's fine. Why is no one holding these like places accountable? I've thought about this on multiple occasions. Not just the Shriners. There's several secret societies that use what would be, culturally inappropriate in today's modern woke crap garbage way of thinking. But you never see them attacking the secret societies that do it. Coincidence? I don't know about that. Hmm. Oh well, I'll have to look into this and see if I can come up with potentially something else that this has to do with. I just don't think it's a coincidence that you have this race being the Shriners 500 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've ever heard of the Shriners 500 before either, and I think that's the key thing. It's at Phoenix. This is where the season ends, so there's a lot coming on this next one, and it's going to be the fourth race, season 4.
Okay, so it started last year. It's their second year.
And Christopher Bell won it last
Christopher
year.
Bell won it, yeah.
Oh man,
Interesting. Interesting. Let's see, what's Phoenix Raceway? That's something I did not type in. A lot of 77s with this. Yeah, Bell equals 77. Let's see. Bell won last year at Phoenix Raceway equals 77. His name equals 77. Three-peat? 3 in a row for Bell? There's some things pointing towards that.
oh yeah.
And maybe just a Bubba top 3 finish or something that puts him on the map. Because he doesn't need to do much to get in the headlines. If he finishes second, he's going to have more. There are going to be more stories about him than Christopher Bell winning 3 times in a row. So something to keep in mind. Wow. Also, Phoenix is all about, death and rebirth and resurrection. So be interested.
Yeah, and Joey Logano won the Phoenix race, or he won the championship last year in Phoenix. I don't know who won that second race. He might have won it. Forget who won that one.
Well, I think there's a lot to potentially go off of, and I'll try to do some due diligence now that the other house I'm not over there as much. It's really just doing stuff on the old homestead. There's still a lot for me to do, but I'll try to have some sit down times at night. The internet thing is pretty much worked out, by the way. So that's something that's been ailing my ability to do as much research because I used to do it almost every single night. It was kind of like my personal ritual. I would go over some things and just lightly go over them, and some things I would be able to contribute to Zach's channel and stuff like that. But it's really honestly it's felt like it's been so long since I've even been in that regular schedule that yeah, I'm happy to be able to get back to it at a more uh, regular clip because I've really only had like maybe the day of Sunday, afternoon when I get off work, and other than that, my weeks are pretty stacked. So it's kind of like a crapshoot at the very end to try to find something, and I think interestingly enough, that's been kind of cool because a couple of the times it's led to, us finding it live, which is also exciting. But as far as me having a presentation, I haven't had one in quite some time, and I do miss making them.
Yeah, we've both kind of been having our, me too. Like I said, with learning another job and all the stuff I got to do, and getting tasked on other things too. So it's like we're kind of like you said, we haven't really had like a lot of themes as of late. We've been kind of just riffing on episodes and um,
Winging
just
it.
kind of, yeah, some things here and there. It's like you catch or you think of what you want to talk about or say, or things that pop up through the week, or things that catch your attention or something. Or but then pretty much been it. Yeah, like you said, like trying to get back to themes and get back to um, just like mixing it up, just different things. Just like I said, cover the NASCAR every week, week to week, and follow that because it's such an interesting thing and how they talk to us and
It's been
that.
fun.
Oh yeah,
And I'm not into like the races per se, but it's been fun going over it with you and learning it, and then also seeing just how blatant the mockery is. It's like I've never done like hockey either, but I would assume that it's like similar. But it is crazy how we're kind of unraveling how you know they
that
built this.
WrestleMania episode is going to be a massive one. They're going to have huge
When is
things.
that slated for?
April 19th and the 20th.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Ignatius Loyola Day.
Yeah,
What better day?
Oklahoma City.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's going to be action packed. Cena's last match
He's 47. It's right before he turns 48. So
should be should be rife with predictive programming. That's for sure. They definitely say what you want about wrestling. If you don't have your finger to the pulse on like a lot of things, you do miss a lot of things because they really, it's every major event, it's every major sport, it's every major political news headline, it's every major celebrity death. These things connect and they build a larger framework of a narrative that generally is a narrative that goes in circles and cycles, but to know where you're at on that wheel, you really do got to keep your finger to the pulse of quite a few different things, whether you personally like them or not. And I'm finding that out with NASCAR, how you know, back to back, we've seen cultural references in. Well, I guess mainly it was just the William Byron one, but very interesting that you have this cyclical thing happen where he won it. Bell won at Phoenix last year, the inaugural Shriners 500, and now you have the second year of it this year, and he's won back to back races right before it. So
yeah,
interesting.
he's trying to three-peat. He's trying to go for a three-peat.
He might put his fez on if he wins. But I alluded to this in the opening. Uh, this hit the headlines the 26th. So God, I'm terrible at dates. It was like Wednesday or something like that. Actually, what
Yeah,
day
it
was
was
it?
one. Yeah, that was Wednesday because I was day I had my appointment too.
That's something I didn't look at. Hmm, I spelled it right. Oh yeah. Well, crap. Well, I didn't have that added. But yeah, Wednesday equals 44. So anyway, let's get into it. He had the death of the youngest star of the hit show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I alluded to this as well, that it was my sister's favorite show, and it does have actual implications on a broader thing that's going on in our day and age. In fact, with our channel, because our last episode is the first time we ever gotten content struck. It's not like a strike or anything. It was just a like a warning type thing. But apparently that the 0 day it got full content flagged. So anyway,
Interesting. That comes out on Kurt's birthday, and then we talk about it and show it, and then that's the problem somehow.
my God, it's like, man, we were talking about it the whole time. We were giving references to it. It's not like we just let the whole thing play. So anyway, uh, this lady, she came into the show later on in its life, but she was introduced as the main star's younger sister randomly, and she became this like integral part of the their little narrative and their crew, up to the point where she was literally the key to the saving or the destruction of the whole world, um, at one point. And her name was Dawn Summers in the show, and she started out at a ripe young age. I mean, under 10 years old, I believe, started doing commercials. And then I think Nickelodeon, her first show, yeah, 97, or no, sorry, 94, was The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which I've honestly never heard of it. Um, it's worth looking into more. But anyway, child star, Nickelodeon star, you can't go wrong with these. You know the you get the theme by now. You know they're going to be defamed or dead, or something's going to, or they'll be at the head of a scandal, as per usual. Yet Nickelodeon just continues on with their flagship SpongeBob, and no one bats an eye about their sick dealings for decades. But anyway, this Michelle Trachtenberg lady, you had her die at the young age of 39. And interestingly enough, she's from New York, as you see. She's from New York and died in New York, specifically Manhattan. But if you know anything about gematria in New York, it is 39 Central. You have the larger spelling of New York. You have the God, I can't remember what that's called. Anyway, just the individual letters of the starting letters of the state itself, and then you also have the post written, all equaling 39. Granted, in three different ciphers, but it still plays the same. And these numbers come up all the time in sports. Think there's so many New York sports teams, but she's dead at 39, and that's an obvious red flag there. But another interesting thing is too, from her last birthday, October 11th, 2024, to her death day was, let's see, 138 days later, or a span of 139 days. But the person who produced and directed the show, Joss Whedon, who is now famous for a lot of the Marvel movies, and he even did DC movies too, so it's really weird. Um, Joss Whedon equals 138, just like, and I can show that as well. Let's see. October 11th to February 26th. 138 days. Just like the creator of the show, Buffy itself. Oh yeah, her name itself, Michelle, which is interesting too, because the lead star, her name is Sarah Michelle Gellar, or Prince now, but you have that Michelle in her middle name, and then you have Michelle, her younger sibling in the show, named Michelle. But you see that Michelle equals 40, and technically she was in her 40th year of life. It also equals 67, which is big with human and blood sacrifice. And if you're familiar with the show, that was a common theme in the show is human and blood sacrifice, especially by the titular vampire, which also equals 39. So you have this, scripted part of her career, came in at a very young age. That's something I did not check is what year, how old was she when she started on Buffy?
Kind of looks like Davy Chase from The Ring.
Was she the one that played Samara?
Yeah.
Okay. So she started in 2000, so she would have been 15. Vampire with numerology is 1-5, like 15. Also, New York, abbreviated New York is 15 as well, where she was born and died. So that's interesting. And it's just funny how things connect because you have him in the headlines. She was one of the big actresses. It was her and one other, or it was one other lady and her who basically spoke out about Joss Whedon. He was basically getting Me Too'd. So as you can see here, he was attached to the Me Too movement, and uh, it came down to this whole thing. He divorced his wife, who like this handsome lady, this handsome woman. But yeah, he divorced over her. It was a nasty thing where she like called him out and was like he was a hypocrite because he was always like seen as like this pro-feminist. I mean, if you watch Buffy at all, it's kind of hard to not be pro-feminist, although there are some things about it that are, anyway, it's balanced in some ways, but it's obviously a pro-feminist show. You have this 5 foot nothing girl kicking every big dude's ass that she can see, just like back to back to back. But anyway, yeah, you have her death, and she was one of the ones that stood up to Joss Whedon. And interestingly enough, you have him. So you have him back in the headlines, pretty much out of nowhere through her death. And what's interesting is my sister brought this up to me just like 20 minutes before we started recording. But this moon mission by NASA just supposedly landed on the moon today, and they took off January 15th, which is another 1-5, interestingly enough. Yeah, it's the Firefly Aerospace Company, which is a commercial company, the first commercial company to land on the moon, supposedly. Very much supposedly, allegedly, whatever I gotta say to basically tell you that I don't believe this shit is happening. But anyway, Firefly, if you know anything about Joss Whedon, he is known for, what's his next biggest show? Firefly, which is about space pirates and bounty hunters in space, basically. And so it's just very interesting how these things play out, and they get these names out in your subconscious, similar to how you have that plane crash attached to the Shriners Hospital, and now you have the Shriners 500, and it's just like, who would be thinking about Shriners otherwise? And same goes with this. It's like, who would be thinking about Joss Whedon otherwise if you don't have this girl die, the youngest member of the cast of Buffy, who stood up to him during the whole Me Too movement, who also produced and directed Firefly in the same week, in the same news week as you have the Firefly mission touchdown on the moon. It's just, there's so many things that it's so far removed from potentially being a coincidence in my mind. I'm not here to necessarily convince anyone, but rather just to show, what we see. And so I haven't done any digging necessarily on this whole Firefly aerospace. Interestingly, you got the 88.
Yeah. 83, and then Firefly, all the ciphers add to 9 too. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
See that all the time, every episode.
Who's Joss, by the way? Joss was another all adds up to 9.
Yeah.
What's her name? Interesting numbers there. Got some Jesuit Saturn numbers, Masonry, Illuminati. It's like you got the all 4 of them.
Yeah.
He's got the 69 like Jesuit Order Illuminati. He's got the 21 like Jesuit. He's got the 33 like Masonry. He's got the 93 like Saturn. Sure, he's a
That's all
fun
being
fellow at the
represented.
parties. Yeah. But it's definitely worth, if anyone knows any, because this launched January 15th. I'm sure it was in the headlines. I was talking to Austin about this a little bit before we started. But I don't know. We've been doing, we're 24 weeks of episodes of podcasts in, and I don't remember this at all. I don't remember this being on the headlines, and I think it was kind of hidden from the, just before the inauguration day is when it launched, and maybe it just flew under the radar, if you will, or maybe flew under the firmament. Anyway, but yeah, I certainly don't remember it. And so if anyone has any more information on exactly what this is about and what it's attempting to do other than land on the moon, are they just saying, hey, look, it's possible? Or is there something they're looking to achieve? Blue Ghost mission equals 72, huh? 225 like 2025.
And there's all the 9s. Oh, never mind. It is all 9s. Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's all 9.
Let's see. Moon landing.
Side to 9.
Moon landing was a satanic ritual, just in case anyone's wondering. And you got that 55 like
Yeah.
Satan.
Like Moon's got the 21, like lunar.
Oh, like Joss.
51,
Or like
15.
Whedon. Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, you got the 15 like. Yeah, other than that, actually, so one other thing is she was also known, her first movie that she played in was Harriet the Spy. I actually watched this when I was a kid. Do they even say anything? She was in a movie called Killing Kennedy too. That's a
KK.
yeah, sounds good. Oh, by the way, she was in Gossip Girl as well. I should definitely mention that. Can't remember exactly does have masonry numbers.
Yeah.
It has the 139, like the span of 139 days from her birthday to her previous birthday to her death. So that was something I noticed. Oh, a little bug just landed on me. What's up, dude? Why don't you go over here? I'm not smashing it. I'm trying to get it off my hand. Come on. But yeah, it's got the 58 and 59 like masonry, and we're talking about the moon, and there's, I don't know, a bigger Masonic. And then, of course, I got my background, so that got the compass with the moon.
We're on the moon. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. We're chilling.
we landed on the moon. It's our discovery.
Yeah, it's just, us saying we did it is just as believable in my opinion. I don't know if there was something with her name, Georgina Squawks. That 83 like murder, like Firefly Aerospace. So it definitely could be connected to this whole moon landing thing. Whether or not it's her connected with it or it's her connection to Joss Whedon, who's connected to Firefly, the show, and yeah, there's definitely I wish I had more. Oh yeah, what I was saying, Harriet the Spy is the movie she was in. I don't know why it's not just like, oh, here it is. She was in this movie way back in the day, 96. And from the anniversary of this movie coming out to her death was exactly 33 weeks to go with that whole masonry. "33 weeks on the nose." So interesting. I wouldn't put it past Joss Whedon being a Mason, especially with the shaming rituals he's gone through. That's something that is very, very common, is these, you see him in the public as like infamous and like shameful and shaming for these people, but he's done nothing ever since that whole Me Too debacle. His stock has just been going up and up and up. Disney, he's on Disney now. He's got Marvel. He's been doing all the Marvel movies. So it's just like, think about that. It's just like, I'll get Me Too'd for, okay, this bug is like driving me nuts. Come here, little man. But yeah, just Me Too me, have nothing come about from it. It's not like I ever spent a day in jail. And then just kind of unfounded rumors and unprovable stuff. And then just land me the biggest contracts and the most money and the most acclaim and with the hottest IPs. Sure, I'll take that trade. So you look at a lot of these shaming rituals, you think about it all the way, in the media, you see these things happen. It's just like the end result is really more fame, more popularity for these individuals. It almost never, I can't think of the cases where it ends these people.
Yeah, it's just another perfect ritual by the numbers.
But yeah, like I said, this is, I think, the only major death from the Buffy series so far, and she was the youngest member of the cast by far. And this show is about vampires, witches, covenants. They're in a secret society right off the bat. They are in a secret. They're like Giles, the like leader of the. He's the one that like can call upon the vampire slayer. Like he's always there to like initiate the vampire slayer into the fraternity of. There's only ever one at a time, except for in the show there's two because there's like a dimensional rift. Won't get into it. I don't remember. I hated that show. But anyway, there basically it's a secret society with this British guy Giles. So it's like very clearly, it'd be interesting to rewatch some of that show. I talked to my sister about this a little bit, and I was because I she's learned a lot, and I've taught her a lot about certain things, and so she's able to see things through different lens, even if it's like retroactive. That's a lot of my awakening has to do with like the retroactive memories that when I quote unquote woke up, basically, when I really truly came to, like literally came to, it was through Zach. And it's not like I didn't know anything before. I was well aware of certain things in the world that weren't right and all these other things. What it really came down to was almost like a religious awakening. I know he's not religious or anything, and he wouldn't want to be. I'm not sitting here saying it is religious in that aspect. It's just the way it came about for me. It was very surreal. I've spoken on it a couple of times, but anyway, just waking up to all of this stuff, what it came down to a lot was retroactive memories. It's like I was able to apply something I just learned and just saw in reality, and it just like flooded all my past memories to say that's what you were missing there. That's what you were missing there. That's what you were missing there. And that like, and it's also crazy how much my brain, like the subconscious, held on to. And it's, without context, you would just think it's just some weird memory that your subconscious is just chilling with. But in reality, it was sitting there waiting to be completed, basically, in the way I'm perceiving it. But yeah, I mean, I was literally kind of tranced out. I went into a little bit of a, almost like could see myself like out of body type feeling experience when I really feel like I put it all together. And those, like, I was definitely not, my eyes were wide open, but I was like in like daydream times 50. But
Yeah, it's like we were there and you're not even really there. It's just it's crazy. Out of body just floating around.
so yeah, I don't know if there's something major overarching. It's really sad to think that, if these people are dying, which I have, well, I need to highlight this too. I'm tripping. They say she died of liver failure because she literally had a liver transplant months ago. And they made a point of like all of her media appearances, which were very few since then. She's had like um, yellowing of her eyes, and people have been like blasting her online about it. But that, it just plays into them like just saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, it was liver failure." But yeah, a liver is another 33 to go with that 33 weeks since the Harriet the Spy thing. So I almost skipped over that, which would have been my bad. Liver failure. I don't know if I. Oh yeah, liver failure equals 138, just like uh, Joss Whedon and her last birthday to her death. So that's probably the icing on the cake that I almost skipped over because I just started yapping. My bad. But yeah, 33 ties into the amount of weeks from the anniversary of Harriet the Spy to her death, and 138 is her last birthday to her death in days. So
Got the big 78, like Austin Jesuit. It's like Trump 78.
yeah. And yeah, there is Trump ties to this. I didn't want to go too hard into it, but 139 is the span of days. And I think it is just Donald Trump. Oh yeah, sorry, just 138 anyway. Donald Trump, and you have, he's it was just the 58th. Or I don't know what I'm talking about. He won the 58th election. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
thinking? Yeah.
50th, 58th, and 60th. Yeah.
Yeah. I just had a brain for it for a second. I was like, 58, what? But also, it's, I've said it enough. I might as well type it in for you guys. Freemasonry equals 58 and 59 and 139. Like the span of days from her last birthday to her death was 139. So
It's like
that all
Trump announced
tying.
it from 58 story of Trump Towers. Big ritual by the numbers.
Yep, and they say there's no. I even got into this with people in Zach's chat. It was just like the numbers add up to him being a Mason, his businessman motif, his connections. down to the, the secret societies that use golf as their kind of it's like the
outlet.
boardroom. It's like
Yeah.
the boardroom, but it's like a casual boardroom. It's where they really do business. Is it more out on the golf course than it is in secret hidden like rooms? And obviously Trump's big with that. But yeah, this guy's like, no, Trump has never been. There's no proof that he's ever been, and he's publicly said he's not. I'm like, oh, okay, case closed. All right, you're right, because every Mason is a Mason. They just are. Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm a Mason. That's how they talk. And also, like the biggest person on stage, they would you would know every detail about their life, and they could just say that you. There's no lies. There's no lies with Trump. He would just say he was, and because he said he hasn't and he didn't, I'm sure he's also denounced any involvement in his ex-wife's death. I'm sure he's said he didn't do anything with any ex-porn stars. I'm sure he said he didn't do all these other things. Granted, I understand these are contrived narratives. I'm just saying, what does it matter if he said he didn't do it? What are you talking about? What does that? Who who are these people in chat rooms that think they know something based on a tabloid article? Like they know the person. It really is a sign of like this sickness, this media sickness that people are under. It's insane. And this is something that's, at least these people are on the realm. They're in Zach's channel, which is obviously decent. They're at least, maybe can absorb some good information, but they still have this idea that like, oh, but this is real. Oh, yeah, all of this, yes, that all matters. It's just, but when Trump says he's not a Mason, he's not a Mason. Okay, drop it. It's like, who are you fighting for? What does this mean to you? Why would you say Trump's not a Mason so assuredly? That doesn't even make sense. Anyway, I can go on and on.
It's like why do you got guys shooting at you between holes 5 and 6 with an AK-47? It's just like your name
There's
equals
also,
47. It's just like,
yeah, I know, right? That
well,
whole thing.
it's just like how they push the fucking Republican and conservative shit like these people are gods, and it's the demon rats and the Democrats are the worst, and they're the most evil, and the only way is Republican and conservative. It's like, yeah, in my whole life there's only been two Republicans. You had the you had Clinton, you had Obama, you had Biden, and then the two Republicans, you had Bush and you had Trump, and it's like those were like the two worst ones we had. It's like they gave us 9/11 and COVID. It's like, so where are you saying that you know your side is better? They're the better ones. I mean, they've been behind the worst of the worst in my lifetime. It's like they've been behind everything that screwed us over and got us here. So it's like, where is the red side um, doing the good deeds and helping us out? Like, how can you be more delusional? It's like, uh, yeah, it's just amazing. It's just so annoying dealing with it. It's just it's frustrating and aggravating. Just thinking, especially now you got all these people thinking, oh, the billionaires are going to get us out of it, and then it's just like, oh yeah, well they're gonna crash. The country's gonna go bankrupt. Yeah, it's bankrupt. It's they're gonna crash it, but it's just like, it's like they want to like, um, I don't know. It's really weird, like how they've gotten people to just accept it with these characters, and it's just like how they can get just so many people behind Trump or Musk or whoever, and it's just like uh, just follow these people and just it's just so it's like we were saying. I mean, uh, Bill Clinton was never in the spotlight. George Bush is never in the spotlight. Obama's never in the spotlight. Biden's never in the spotlight. Who's the one president who's always in the spotlight every day, 24/7, all the time? It's Trump. I mean, there's not many close that's ever been like it. It's just him in the
I would say the
spotlight.
closest was Clinton. He was definitely in the spotlight for a decent part of his presidency. due to the Monica Lewinsky thing. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
and I do think that the whole Trump thing is a reprisal of that. This whole Stormy Daniels thing is, there's always scandals, and think about the shows that have come out about presidents in office too, like House of Cards and just all these other shows where there's like office. There's always sex scandals. There's just always in the shows. It's something they want us to think about. It's something they want us to have in our minds mentally. Who cares if, first of all, not to say if there's no real anything to all this, but God, man, give the guy a break. Look at Hillary, man. You can only do that. You can only do so much with that. I mean, if you're president and you got to go home to Hillary every night, yeah, dude, I'm probably using some of that government authority to.
Yeah. It's like going home to Kamal every night too. It's like, good God.
Poor Kamala. That wretched, evil sack of crap. Poor thing. Not targeting any side or anything. That's also what I wanted to say is you made a great point too, is like you have, this mixed bag of things and the large scale things have happened under Republican presidents or red presidents, if you will. And you'll have these people arguing red and blue, Democrat, Republican. It's just another level, another level of the system that keeps you from seeing the actual thing that's right in front of you. It's like when you're right up to someone's face like this. It's like you don't even know if they're fat. You're so close to it that you can't even see the whole picture. You
Right.
need to take a few steps back and assess things, and you'll see where things connect. You'll see the larger picture. You'll see the main players, and you'll see that they're all connected in different ways, and some very much so in the same, as far as you think about Trump and Grover Cleveland and who would ever connect old presidents this way. Well, they do. These things are on cyclical playbooks, and that doesn't mean that, in the same span from Grover Cleveland to Trump, they're going to do it again. That's not exactly what that means. It means calendar isn't based on Grover Cleveland. So we don't know where we're at astrologically, maybe not astrologically, but in their narrative. We don't go by the exact every autumn. We're not out there, bleeding onto our crops and like jerking off. And who knows what their rituals are that they do for whatever reason they do. All we get to see are these patterns emerging. We don't know exactly the reason for said patterns. Like even think of like these Masonic rituals that we've seen unfold. Take like that Damar Hamlin Hiram Abiff ritual they did right in front of the public, right in front of millions of people. They did an actual Masonic ritual live. And why do they do that ritual though? You look back for Hiram Abiff and like the King of Tyre and the building of Solomon's temple and him being jumped by the three thugs or three hooligans or whatever. What's that got to do with the actual Hiram Abiff ritual? If you look it up, it's a very strange ritual, and why they do it, I'm not saying it's pointless. In fact, there's a sharp point in their back. But anyway, you never know. Like, think about the solstices and the pagan rituals that no one decides to look into unless they delve deep into these types of things. So we don't know the actual metaphysical reasons for their carrying on of these traditions that go all the way back to Sumer and Babylon and all these types of things. We don't know the actual root reasons. I believe these people have been keen on all of the resets of our world, and they actually know ancient knowledges for certain things. And a lot of these things are just paying homage to it I don't think that they're carrying on the exact same traditions necessarily, but they pay homage to it through the festivals. Look at the Roman festivals. Look at all the. I mean, everything is derived from something. They're not making up new stuff. So if you think
Right.
about the American holidays, they all have some pagan root that you don't even know about. Like everybody celebrates Easter as some grand, like Jesus Day. It's literally a pagan festival for coitus. It's a fucking festival. It is about, but the why the Easter rabbit is the it's like why an Easter rabbit for Jesus's rebirth? What is going on there? Well, it's not about Jesus's rebirth. Jesus' rebirth is fashioned after, it is modeled after the pagan ritual of uh, a birthing ritual. Birthing, spring is known, like that's the whole idea of springing also. To like spring forth is has to do with child rearing. Anyway, I could go on and on and on about it. My point being is these like long lost ritual history things that we don't pay attention to, we don't follow. These are the basis for the rituals that go on, not necessarily the 365-day calendar. That's a part of it. They're able to sync up things through that, but that's not to say that, oh, it's another year. So this year there's going to be another Hiram Abiff ritual on this day. It's not that simple. It's like some other larger calculation method that they're definitely using. It's not something as simple. That's why you have a Grover Cleveland. That doesn't mean 40 years before Grover Cleveland was the first split term, or was like the split term grand master of the lodge, and so now Grover Cleveland's paying homage to that. That's not necessarily how that works. It's just on these specific anniversaries and dates that they understand and that they pay homage to. Because first of all, you got to understand our calendars are not accurate to the actual wheel of time that is flowing. The way the sun moves and the way the moon works, that is not what is given to us and this is, there's plenty of places that I would tend to disagree with Zach's necessarily like scientific understanding of everything. I get where he's coming from scientifically, but things aren't made that simple and out there for us to understand. That's and in fact that's the basis of his work, is how to understand these things you had to have. Yeah, it's not like hidden from you, buried 20 feet underground under, you know, some building that you need Nicolas Cage's help to figure out where it is, but you have to have some initiated knowledge to apply the information that he picked up on, the gematria through Manly P. Hall and stuff like that. And the reason he got it from a Mason, a high degree Mason, one of, is because those things are passed down through these lodges. It's not just the lodges. I do think that there are swaths and lots of people that live underground that follow a completely different human experience than we do. And they come up there. It's not like they don't understand human experiences that we do. It's just, it's like, it's almost, you could look at it, Earth is like a vacation. That under Earth is where they live, and Earth is where they come up to be a celebrity for 20 years. And they're, I could get into that. That might be just more controversial than what I'm trying to aim at here. But I hope I'm coming across at least somewhat that you can understand that, these things aren't just yearly traditions or cycles. These things are on a cycle that we don't particularly understand, and we're just able to piece things throughout the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like you were saying before too. I mean, it's no different than the technology. I mean, the technology, it's like the old world technology was way better than the stuff we have today, and people just think that this stuff gets invented. No, this stuff's always been around. It's just it's how they, it's how they show the world to you. It's how they, it's how they, um, just like how the military or whatever is like 100 years ahead of us, technology wise or whatever. Um, the way they go about these things, how certain things become, like you said, it kind of like a household name or household item or date or something. It's um, it's like April 5th, and you get Kurt Cobain, and it's like bam, then you get Lane Staley, and it's like and you get someone else in that day. It's just like how these things become a trend. Um, like grunge, these people, and then they all die, and they're all dying in Seattle or whatever. It's just like this is what they do, and they do this with everything. I mean, this is just how um, it's kind of like what we've been showing tonight. How they piece these things together, and it's just like it's why you have all the things you have now. It's just and even just like where people are at with things, it's just like um, so many people might it's just like how these things, like you said, like are humiliation rituals. It's like a job interview. It's like a job interview is it's like a humiliation ritual. You know what I mean? It's just
Good
like
point.
um
It's a test. Yeah.
yeah, it's like how it's like so many people just like judging you, or worried about being judged or judged by God. It's like at the end of the day, you are your only judge. I mean, there's no one to judge you. You are your only judge. It's um just like how like you were saying, like how we don't know what everything is. It's just like I don't know what like we are, and what's there's only so much to know and that you can know. It's just like there's only so many things that you can possibly figure out and understand. And I'm just someone who just thinks there's a lot more going on around us at all times that we don't know about, we don't understand. And that's just how it is with some things. It's like some things are just it's just kind of meant to be. um you might be kind of singled out. People might, judge you, or, you might be like being judged for a view you have, or it's like, you might feel like you're being humiliated. It's like a humiliation ritual towards you for what you think about something. But um, sometimes it's like, it's more obvious, but with certain patterns, certain things you see and you pick out, it's like, it's just right there in front of your face. And some things it's like, I always just try and keep an open mind with things. It's like, it's hard to, there's only so much you can know. It's just like, we're talking like with like NASA is and stuff in space. It's just like, um, it's like my philosophy is they just shoot rockets up and they fly them around, keep them up there, and they drop them down in the ocean, and then ships come and pick people up, pick the stuff up. And it's like, obviously, I don't have proof of that. I can't like show you that, like, but I can basically see it's happening and almost guarantee it. It's just like, um, like I can just guarantee, we never went to the moon. It's like I think that there's some kind of a barrier, whatever you want to call it, like a not like we're not really like almost like an invisible dome, invisible barrier, invisible wall that we can't break out of. We're stuck in the Earth realm or Earth sphere, and you got space and stuff, and then um, that we are, inside some kind of enclosed system where we can't get out. We can't really go out and explore. And it's just like that's why they got to put the facade up, um, and then you get these stories, going to the moon and the moon landings and space. And it's just like ways to just always keep messing with people's perception of stuff, just like perception of the earth. Is it flat? Is it round? How much space is out there? Well, what does Antarctica look like? What's going on in Antarctica? What it's basically the same thing with all this. It's just left for speculation. And like I said, there's only at the end of the day, there's only so much you can know about something. There's only so far you can pretty much get, and the rest of it is just whatever you just make of it, because it's all you can really do. Just guess with the best of them. Just make your guesstimates and estimates. Really.
Yeah, you make a great point. It's definitely not on everybody to understand everything, and that's what it's but I do think it is your duty as a human to search and to look and to look for meaning, and what meaning you derive from things could be the key to the actual thing itself. That doesn't mean like they say, be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Yeah, it's definitely not my intention to. Obviously, as I talk, I'm just like, I need to look into this more. It's like I have an outside understanding of everything, but of certain, not everything, but of certain things. But I almost don't dare delve too deep, because not only do I learn from other people, but like that's kind of, I think, the nature of what we're supposed to be doing is complementing, the strengths of other people, and all facets, but especially in information gathering, learning aspects. It's we're so much stronger as a unit, because even just in chat rooms of where good information is flowing, you'll see things that you'll be able to have connections drawn for you that you would have never saw, because you just either didn't see it, or you weren't privy to something, or they were able to see something that you didn't see, through a lens that you didn't know about. So that to get, and they're counting on this too. Like that we're up against a network of people that care deeply about what I'm talking about. They spread their information efficiently, and they have the learning of that said code or information is an efficient process from their, I'm sure, their birth, to learn it and understand it. We don't do that. We're just busy feeding our kids Trix yogurt cups and Pop Tarts and sending them off to be indoctrinated for 13 years. That's what we do. We don't really take the time and sit down with our kids and like teach them any intricate things. And I'm not saying what they're doing is right or like better in any way. Well, better than what I said, yeah. But in some cases, but it shows this level of dedication that the average person, I don't care if American or where they are, does not have. They do not have it, and a lot of it has been stripped away. But that, to rest on your laurels and just say, "Oh, they made me this way, so I'm just gonna continue to be this way," man, I can't. You can't do that. And so I think, my one of my goals and dreams of not only just this channel, but just the working with you and hoping to make this a larger network, along with Zach. And we've had an interview with King Richard already, and I'd love to correspond with him more often. Uh, there's also, other good names in the community that do great work, and I think would benefit from us all working together. And never mind the brand, never mind any type of monetization that may come, and that would be a blessing, and that'd be cool. But besides that, it's just like what I'm talking about, is filling in the gaps for each other that we couldn't, we couldn't know about otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you brought up too King Richard, yeah, because I was in his uh popped in a couple of his chats this week when I had a few minutes here and there, just said like hi to him. I was in his chat the other night too for like 10 minutes or so, but yeah, absolutely. And it's like I say all the time, it's just about um getting over people's differences, just finding common ground. I mean, um that's really what it's all about, and what's really missing from from this community, what we really need. And it's just like um people just not getting divided over little small petty things, or things that you can't really know or prove, or um, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that just are, it's just it's obvious that they're just paid the money they are just to be the troll or the sellout or the person. It's just like watching the debate last week and watching it this week, it's just what it is, with these people. It's just that's just kind of what's the internet is for the most part. It's what's really out here. There's not very many people that um, are trying to like really talk about or find or be about real things, or want to actually dive into things with a real depth. It's just a lot of shallow people.
Superficial.
Yeah, just you really just that's really what it's all about. I mean, and that's just a big thing, like with myself, because I'm someone that you know I could have did a lot of different things in my life. I was offered careers in the military, police, and I got a guy at the gym. He's a police too, and he's asked me and wanted me to try and get me signed up for the police and stuff here too. And it's like everywhere I go, people ask me, to join the police, military. I've had people come out to my house and try and recruit me before when I was like 17 years old. So it's just like, all these other sellout positions. Um, People always, ask me or wanted me to, sell out or, just join the fraudster world and just be part of these people and their network. And, um, yeah, it's just unfortunately this is what you have for a lot of people. It's just, what they'll do for money. I know that last debate, I know they raised over like $10,000 in that stream, um, and obviously both of them were just total garbage and just total clowns and losers. And you got these, this is unfortunately just what you have mostly for most people. It's just like, and then like I said, you got the people like us that are trying to um that do know this knowledge, do understand this knowledge, and we're just trying to, um, like I said, not so much just be about the knowledge. We know the knowledge is fact. We talk about it every episode and stuff, but it's more of finding and just creating more open-minded, like-minded people, and just getting other people's opinions on things, hearing people have to say, to add, because it's like we're saying, everyone's a bit different. Everyone's got different things that they are good at, or different areas they might know something in. It's just like, um, I'm not gonna, 100% discredit someone or not like someone because they're a flat earther or a round earther. I mean, listen to everything you have to say, and it's just like I'll just take as much in as I can. It's just like, if you want to debate how old is the Earth, well, I don't know, but what's it really look like? How much land is there? I don't really know. What's really going on up there in space, and what is the moon? I don't know. It's we can have our estimates and guesstimates about it till we're blue in the face, and just keep guessing with the best of them. It's just that's how I see it. I mean, it's just like you just got to look at where humanity is. I mean, look where people are at. Because really, what it's come down to. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, um, job security is so bad today. The state of things, and that's why you have so many people just making money, and so much people making money on the internet and these and YouTube and videos. And you look at who's getting all the donations, making all the money. $10,000 for a live stream and stuff, and um, $10,000 a day is that's big money. But you look at these people. I mean, look, they're promoting Trump or MAGA or politics, or they talk about sports or religion like it's real, or politics like it's real, or just people that just want to push garbage. It's just like I said, I've never been a sellout. I can't sell out. I could have had a career, and I could have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I could have a house right now. I could be married, possibly have kids, and I could be doing really well for myself, and I remain, to be, not necessarily broke, but I don't have shit. I don't have very much, because I'm not gonna just take the easy way out and sell out and go kill a bunch of people over a lie, or do something that's not me, or you know arrest someone because they had a loaded gun in their car, or some weed or something stupid. It's just like, I no, it's like, and this is what you have. I mean, most people, they're just gonna sell out. They're just gonna jump in the sellout pile, in the sellout category, and they're just gonna go on these easy routes, because that's what most people have. I mean, it's, you know, it's like, what are people's options today? People don't have many options. So, you know, why not just, you know, come on YouTube, drink a bunch of alcohol, smoke my cigarettes, and just act like a buffoon, just act like a clown the whole time, and just, you know, be moving around, bouncing around just the whole time, and just, you know, just, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, for the most part, it's just you have to understand and respect and really know how rare we are, and the fact that um, we're just so rare, and I think that's kind of what gets me. I guess that's what maybe frustrates me or makes me mad the most, is that we're too rare, and there needs to be more of us.
Well, definitely you made some excellent points in that. And I tend to agree. And one thing is for certain is, you know, people that could take some of your advice is those in positions of power. Because back to the headlines, we have this emanating, and this is about all they had to offer us, like uh, for the past 3 or 4 days since it happened or whatever. And you have the Ukrainian president, fake president, meeting our American fake president, and it's just you know, the clown show ensues. I mean, just look at that picture.
Well, let's have a discussion like it's real, bro. Let's talk about this like we're real serious
I
about
don't
this, man.
want
I'm
to.
real angry about this, bro.
But this whole fake struggle thing, it's so strange too, because it's like, is there one instance where, look, Kamala Harris and Biden were having a White House briefing or anything, and they like talked at the same time, or like talked? It's such a weird dynamic. It's just like, if this is what presidents supposedly do, regardless, I don't care what they do, they shouldn't exist. But it was just such a strange dynamic to hear Vance basically going off on Ukraine, called him. He said, Zelensky was like, "Why don't you come to Ukraine? Come to Ukraine, and we'll show you." He's like, "I don't want to go to your propaganda-rich country." Like, true, but at the same time, it's like you're talking about propaganda. This whole show is a propaganda film. You're starring in it, buddy. So it's just, they made their jokes, but the highlight joke, obviously you know about it, is we have all the cards. We got all the cards. You have no cards. You really, to have any cards, you have to be on with us on our side, and you don't have the cards. You don't have the cards. We have all the cards. If you have a strong hand, but right now you don't have a hand. You don't have a hand because you don't have any of the cards. We have the cards. He just kept saying it over and over again, like it was the most profound thing in the world. Obviously, people on our side of the fence understand Trump and the House of Cards, tarot card, the Trump cards. We get this whole thing from the very beginning. But just this diatribe he went on, and just how many times he said it. He's known to repeat himself. Obviously, that's one of his quirks. But he just kept saying it, and like Zelensky's like, "I'm not playing cards." He's like, "I don't play cards." Like, even his like fake Ukrainian way, it's like he has been an, like, dude, I guarantee you, he's a versatile. He's an actor, obviously born and bred to be an actor. Initially, was a comedian and actor before made the very serious presidents, very serious. Um, but it was just an absolute shit show, in maybe more the ways than one too. I do want to try to pull up the video before we talk about it. Actually, what was that quote? Or it was like, "You don't have any of the cards," or "You don't
You
have
don't
the
have
cards."
you don't have the cards. Yeah, it equals 228 and 84, just like the United States of America 228 and 84.
And
It
when does
happens
this
on
happen?
March, the last day of March, 228, or last day of February.
February. Absolutely. I mean, just
Yeah.
look at this. I mean, you'd be absolutely hammered if it was a drinking game. He said it 50 times, probably for America, because America equals 50. How many states we got? No way. 50? That can't be right. Anyway, yeah, so he repeats this over and over again. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw part of it. And, they're really trying to make Vance this, like, he has some right to be there for no reason. It's just like, it's so weird. He's like he's the most involved vice president I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
Dick Cheney wasn't doing this type of stuff, and he's like the last most involved vice president. You could say Kamala was, but she was the president, so it's not even like she was the vice president. She was doing presidential duties more than the president. But as far as speaking, I mean, and yeah, it's just very strange. But after the press briefing, or after the whole White House Oval Office debacle, he had a little press briefing right outside, and I want you guys to see this because I have an idea that he potentially has a colostomy bag. And let's see, Trump statement.
Yeah, he definitely ain't looking too good.
Okay, come on, let's be good about this. Here we go.
3.5 million in revenue at a 6x ROAS. Those are the numbers.
No. Don't do this to me. He walks all the way from over here. Come on. I think I'm onto something here. Why would they shorten that? It's got to be this
one. 1.26 million in 6 months. That's my revenue for the first half of this year. 2 years ago.
Thank you
very much. So I just want to say.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Okay, here we go. He overplayed his hand. He doesn't have a hand, quite frankly. He doesn't have a hand. Without us, he doesn't have a hand. It's sad. He's a sad little man. He walked all the way around here.
We had a meeting today.
God, how hard is this? Now they're making me seem like a fool. All right. Bear with me. If you have anything to say about this, do so. Because I watched this earlier, so.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he does have one because, I mean, like I said, look at him, he ain't looking too good. So
it was Forbes. Huh. 2 minutes and 1 second. Why don't you wear a suit? So important. This is the one. It's like
1.26 million in 6 months. That's my revenue for the first half of this year.
There was like eyes, like that. For sure it is. And what is like, never mind this, but what was that?
yeah.
Like he's doing this very coordinated walk. Look at that. Adjust. I think he's got a colostomy tucked in there. Adjust. And look at the way he's walking, so like,
Yeah.
he's holding something. in there. Like he doesn't want something to fall. Personally, I truly think that's what that was. That's all I want to show you guys.
Yeah, it
He's
looks like
walking
he's
very
definitely.
weird.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's hiding something. He's moving weird.
Making colostomy bags great again. Quite frankly, you don't have the cards. I gotta tell you. And your people are dying. Your people are dead on the streets because they don't have the cards.
We don't have the cards. I hold all the cards because I'm the best. I'm better.
Look at them coordinate there. Actually, oh please, this is their oh please moment. But I also thought it was funny that they highlight the 139 minutes that up into the U.S.-Ukraine alliance. What alliance? Why are we allied with them? It's just like, why is not to say that any nations are legitimate. I'm saying like it really is. It's a quite interesting the routes you could take with all of this, with the Russia's involvement, the SS, the the so-called dissolvement or dissolving of the Nazi regimes, even bit down to the paperclip. You know, we talked or Operation Paperclip or Project Paperclip, the whole JFK, Werner von Braun situation with Elon Musk, all that stuff that's playing out, and now you have this constant Ukraine and being plunged in, or not constant, I should say. It was this would have been an extremely dead week. I mean, you had the Trachtenberg death, a couple of other people. Oh yeah, you did have actually Gene Hackman died. I forgot about that because I didn't look into it. I saw Zach covered it, and I was going to watch his stream, but I never got around to watching it. That was actually probably the biggest thing this week was Gene Hackman, and it's like him, his wife, and a dog died with no cause of death. They're all like dead in different rooms of this house. It's just like, what the fuck? I guarantee you there's some sort of movie he played in, which I believe he's played the president before. He's definitely played like a war general, but has he played the president? IMDb.
Hackman, like how we're gonna get hacked by the hackers.
Oh, that's a good point. He did play Lex Luthor, which is interesting. Runaway jury, huh? Oh, he's in behind enemy lines. Wow. Gene Hackman dead. Wow. He was a busy boy in 2001. Jeez.
Yeah.
You know it's been a bad night. It was what, 95? Yeah. Anyway. He played in The Mexican, dies in New Mexico. Yeah, what was his role in Enemy of the State? Who is Brill? I guess a guy. We'll never know. Anyway. Oh, here we go. Absolute Power. He played President Richmond. Damn, what a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, and Ed Harris. I like how they highlight the E, H, and H. Interesting. What this one's all about. This very well could have something to do with this. played the president in this, where you witnessed some sort of crime with a. Anyway, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Anyway, we're
Absolute.
is garbage. But anyone who witnessed this is just, it's just more political theater. And Trump even said too, this makes great television. He said that. It's just like they all laughed, and it's just like, guys, what do I need to slap you guys with to get you to wake up? Like, if you guys can't watch this and obviously see that this is just filler for your subconscious, the propaganda machine never stops rolling. I mean, I don't know what else can do it.
Right. I mean, the Trumpers love it. The Trumpers love it because they see it as a show. They see it as a show. It's like it's better than watching, your favorite TV show or your movie or playing video games. It's like, oh, Trump's on, and oh, look at him. He's so entertaining. I mean, they get fired up. It's like it's like they're watching wrestling. They're watching two people cut promos after each other. Tearing the other side down. It's like, oh, did you see what Trump said to him? Did you, they get all excited about it. Like they think they have a seat at the table. It's like, yeah, you're just, you got the mega hat over your eyes. It's covering your eyes.
But yeah, I thought it was also quite funny. Like, look at this picture. You got Trump in between the two pillars. We're talking about somebody who's not a Mason. He's not an honorary Mason. There's no proof that he's ever been a Mason, but he's sitting in between two pillars while they highlight 139 minutes. Freemasonry equals 139. And I don't know. It's just there's so many correlations between him and Masonry, down to his name gematria, down to, like we said, the 58 election, or 58 election, yeah, and certain things, but
Trump's not a puppet, man.
no, he's got something up his ass collecting that poop, though. It might not be a puppet master's hand, but it's probably a colostomy bag.
Yeah.
Probably no. The puppet master's like, ooh, no, I'm not gonna stick in my hand up there. All sorts of fucked up shit in there. I don't know. It was just, I mean, you had the press asking Zelensky why he doesn't wear a suit. And it's just like, fucking, why does anybody wear a suit?
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that this is the right outfit for any occasion, but who cares? Is it because this chair was so nice and it's like such high class, and these fire pokers for this fake fireplace are so nice, and like this fake book is so nice, and I don't, who gives a crap? So what if they're matching and their mamas dressed them up this morning and kissed him on the forehead? Who cares? Granted, that outfit's ugly. It's like a dark mag.
Yeah, it's
Like,
dark.
put a dark mag.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask Musk for the money, because I'm just sure they just need more money. Meanwhile, the UK did just give the Ukraine a ton of money, supposedly for air missiles. It's like, fuck, man. People just eat this crap up. It's like they really think that this is just how it works. And meanwhile,
it's that old saying: if he's wearing a suit and tie, he's telling you a lie.
Mm-hmm. I didn't actually
it's so
catch
annoying. Yeah, it's so annoying how they dress up and they, just put on a suit and tie and just look so professional and look like you're being real and serious, and everyone's gonna believe it just because you have a suit and tie on, and you're just, it's just so stupid. It's just so dumb how people I don't know. This is what they look up to. This is the definition of success right here. This is a real leader. Someone who's not a puppet.
Could they like just crank the AC up too? It's just like, what are you doing? Who sits like that? In what setting do you ever cross your arms like a little baby and just like the way he's sitting, I'm not saying you should cross your legs or nothing like that. It's just they purposely made him look so small. Like they made Trump sit up in his chair. Look at this. They made it, he's got his tomato perched on the edge of his seat to make him look nice and imposing in comparison. If Trump was to be sitting back relaxed, he would look like a lump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look at the guy's shape. I mean, he just has the weirdest shape. I mean, he's just this big fat glob of shit. I mean, that's what he is. He has no like just no agility or no movement to his body. Just look at him walk, look at him move. It just looks like garbage. It's just this.
I couldn't imagine.
Awful looking.
I also think it's also funny that you have Tim Walz being the pick for Kamala Harris. And then you have Waltz being hired. There's weird correlations going on in different places.
The walls of Jericho.
Yeah. All of them. What a great move.
Y2J.
Look at this. White House chefs were at work in the West Wing on Friday, laying out plates of rosemary, chicken, celery root puree, and collard greens when the sound of raised voices began floating. Oh, who the fuck is writing this? That's like when you need to, when you're like given like a 500 page or 500 word essay. And so you're just like, at the end of what this is what I'm trying to say right now is that. And before you ever like say what you need to say, it's like, man, that was a good way to get 20 words in. Who gives a crap what they were making? First of all, that's not even like high class. I make collard greens at my restaurant, and I probably make them better. I will put my collard greens against whatever chefs they got back there. Of course, if I were to compete against them, I'd probably get off like Obama's cook, but it's worth it. Inside, a remarkable scene was unfolding. Who wrote this crap? Kevin Liptak and Jeff Zeleny. The usual suspects.
Oh, yeah.
Inside, a remarkable scene was unfolding. So remarkable. It was really... Did Trump write this? President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance had begun berating their guest. Oh, my! Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In a hitherto, they are fucking with us. They are fucking with us so bad. They definitely had an amount of words they had to use. So they wrote it and it was like 479 words. And like, shit, we got to add 21 words. So it's like hitherto, celery root puree, what they eat. Oh, that's like 10 words right there. We could just, anyway. In a hitherto unseen public implosion of a key global relationship. For supporters of Ukraine, the moment was disastrous. Everything that could have gone wrong in a meeting between two headstrong leaders did. I'm sorry, is Zelensky headstrong? All he ever does is ask for money on TV. I've never seen him like stand up strong. Why doesn't he go and debate Putin? And I'm not saying Putin is headstrong. He is playing the headstrong character. These people are punch them in the gut. They go down like a rock. You know what I mean? These people are such little, you would fold these fools up with like a swift wind. So, but they, act like there's the imposing characters, like Putin is anything. Like standing in front of Putin would just be like, oh, bitch.
Right.
Boom, you done. Like, anyway. Yeah.
So Putin, man, he's so dangerous, man. He's so powerful, man. No one's gonna fuck with him, man.
Everything he says is just like, hold on to every word. Yeah, for all the shock.
He's like Bruce Lee, man. He'll do a kung fu backflip off the wall.
You won't even know that you're dead yet. Your neck will just slide off. Yeah, for all the shock, it was not an unforeseen outcome. Indeed, in the lead, they're definitely filling a quota. In the lead up to the talks, or the AI is, which were intended to culminate in the signing of a new agreement on rare earth minerals. I forgot to even mention that part of it. Let's, for due diligence, what is rare earth minerals? Then you had Putin actually talk about this afterwards, and he was like, Russia has way more. We're actually way better. If you want to do business straight up with Russia, why don't you just do business with us? Never mind these people. Rare earth minerals, 86. Well, Zelensky got 86 for not signing it.
Yeah.
$79, that's what it equals. I was thinking of what the reverse equals in Society of Jews. Or is it Roman Catholicism? No, not quite. Anyway, let's finish this stupid article. In the Spanish sentence. Yet for all the shock, it was not an unforeseen outcome. Indeed. Okay, you said indeed already. In the lead up to the talks, which were intended to culminate in the signing of a new agreement on rare earth minerals, many allies of both men quietly wondered whether their already combustible dynamic would end in triumph or catastrophe. Efforts were taken to prepare Zelensky for a successful meeting with Trump, who was famously susceptible to flattery and highly attuned, because most people aren't, right? And highly attuned to how he's being treated. The Ukrainian president has warned to focus squarely on the minerals deal and to avoid getting drawn into a fight. I told him this morning, don't take the bait. Don't let the media or anyone else get you into an argument with President Trump. What he's doing today is resetting the relationship, said Senator Lindsey Graham, who was among a group of Republican and Democratic senators who met Zelensky before he came to the White House. Other European leaders who'd come through the building this week offered Zelensky their own guidance, including French President, little piece of shit man, who has found success in an approach to Trump that balances adulation with pushback and not bringing his man wife around. Still, others, including some U.S. officials, tried to discourage Zelensky from making the trip to Washington at all, believing his work was still needed to strengthen what had already become a hostile relationship. Still, by the time Zelensky was pulling into the White House gates on Friday, few could have predicted quite how explosive the ensuing 139 minutes would become. First of all, 139 minutes, 2 hours and 19 minutes. Like, there's a reason they don't delineate the normal way people speak. It's because 139 equals Freemasonry. Freemasonry equals 139. Though some detected early signs of trouble. Stepping from his black SUV wearing what has become his standard uniform, drab military shirt and pants, Zelensky did not belie any tension with Trump, who had walked through the halls of the West Wing to greet him. But some U.S. officials watching from afar saw a problem. Zelensky's attire. Like, what is this? Well, who cares? I'm not reading this. Oh, you're all dressed up, Trump said. Look, I don't like the guy. I like some of his script. That's literally what I'll say. Just the same way I like some of Biden's script. They made him super funny sometimes. Like, they made it just to call someone like a pony soldier. Like, the things he made him say was so funny. Sometimes. My son likes to quote one of Joe Biden's sayings about like an AR-15. He was like, I won't butcher it. Anyway, before the Oval Office meeting devolved into a shouting match, Zelensky was asked by a reporter from a right-wing outlet, handpicked by the White House, to be in the room during the talks. Oh, yeah, because I'm sure when Biden was in there, he wasn't handpicking the left. I'm not saying that he was or he wasn't. I'm just saying the way these things are phrased to get you to feel cited. It's not cited, people. This shit does not matter. Fact check. 33 times Zelensky thanked Americans and U.S. leaders. 33, huh? Oh. It's not about masonry. I promise you there's nothing Masonic in this at all. Don't worry, he's not holding a triangle with stars in it. That's not Masonic, okay?
This ain't a puppet show.
Yeah, very much so not. You can watch Sesame Street if you want to see puppets. This is real life.
Yeah.
Handpicked by the White House to be in the room during the talks. why he was not wearing a suit in the United States' highest office. I will wear a costume after this war will finish, yes? Even have him, I will wear a costume after this war will finish, yes? Zelensky said, responding in English. Maybe something like yours. Maybe, yes, maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper. Thank you. Spasiba. Perhaps taking a lesson from the parade of foreign leaders who had preceded him in the White House over the past month, Zelensky did not arrive empty-handed. He brought with him the UFC belt won by the Ukrainian boxer Alexander Usyk last year. Why did he give it to Zelensky? Like, they can't do this shit without bringing up rigged sports. Like, anyway, the colorful gold belt, which sat propped on one of the end tables as the two men got to talking, went unmentioned during the talks. He's just like, I don't want that shit. Glinting under the lights. For the first 40 minutes of their talks, Trump did not evince. I actually don't know that word. Trump did not evince outward bitterness towards Zelensky. Instead, discussing the minerals deal they were planning to sign later in the day. Indeed, upstairs in the East Room, a long wooden table had been prepared for the signing ceremony, with 4 chairs ready for the signatories. It was never to be. I don't give a shit. How much more? There's just. Did they talk about dessert? I just saw creme brulee. What the fuck? They brought up the food again? All right. They're not getting me. They got me good enough. Anyway, bunch of garbage. Do I need to read more?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know who that's for. Is it for like 60-plus-year-old women who care about like every minor detail about nothing? Because like, what is that article for? It didn't even barely talk about what happened. So
Yeah,
never
it's just a
mind
big
that.
entertainment purposes, just people being entertained.
Exactly. Soap operas end, and then it's just they turn on the news, and it's just more soap operas.
Yeah.
Let's tune into the latest with, when the sad music plays in the soap opera and they go to the hospital scene. It's just our boy here. It's like, oh my God.
It's their reality TV show.
Well, he's on the mend. He got a blood transfusion from Jesus. he got Jesus' blood pumping through his veins. And he's definitely on the mend. He doesn't even need ventilation and is stable. If there's no ventilation in that room, I guarantee you that stinks. But yeah, they say he's before too long, maybe even next Sunday, he'll be with us again to give grace in the sermon. Oh wow. Yeah, Cardinal Dolan speak of. This guy's name equals 201. He was big with Joe Biden. Big LGBT gay cardinal. Makes sense.
It looks like it himself.
He tweeted nicely, I would like to thank for your prayers, which rise up to the Lord from the hearts of so many faithful from many parts of the world. I feel all your affection and closeness, and at this particular time, I feel as if I am carried and supported by all of God's people. He is mocking you. He's literally using your own faith, and you don't even realize it, that he's mocking what that faith says. You should not hold up anyone higher than you do the Lord. So for him to basically be saying you're carrying him, you're worshiping a false idol. You're literally admitting to worshiping a false idol if you consider yourself in this group that he's mentioning here. Anyway, there's always his sister we can swoon over. I honestly, her over Macron's wife.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. She's 70, so they have an 11-year difference, huh? She's 77, he's 88. Interesting.
Big master number.
We've got Oscar Adrian Bergaglia. What's up with this guy? Oh, he died. He died at 59. Nothing to see here. Guess your brother couldn't help you. He wasn't imbued with Christ's power yet. You had to die. Well, that's as much of a welfare check as I care to give that fat old piece of crap. What I wanted to do, maybe to close it out here.
Did you hear about the Black Pope or whatever,
Arturo?
Or the other one that was supposedly supposed to Robert Sarah or whatever?
How do you spell his name? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, he was born June 15th, 1945. He's 79. He's in the 80th year of his life.
They're saying he could be the next pope? You'd have two black popes?
Yeah, I was watching this, or I heard this too on King Richard's channel too. It's interesting because you brought up the moon landing too, and the ordination date for Robert Sarah was actually July 20th, 1969, the 201st day of the year, the day that the moon landing happened, the first moon landing, and he was ordinated by Raymond Maria Dimbo, whatever his name is. He's a bimbo, whatever he is.
Hey.
Oh
man, you're completely right. Yeah, July 20th, 1969. Go on. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, he was. If you write out to his name, Raymond Marie Imbo, the bimbo, whoever he is, whatever he is. It's got the 111 and the 123 like conspiracy. Whenever you spell his last name there, it's got the 47 in it and the 83. Marie's kind of interesting too. It's got the 46, 35. Raymond's got the 90.
That name. I can't find it, and I don't dare try to spell it.
Yeah, Robert Sarah's got the 125, the 53, the 172, the 73.
Who is that? That Raymond Tishtimba. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, and he was born on August 15th, 1920, died March 26, 2011. 26-3. Died on the 224th day of his age.
August 15th. Why do I feel like that's an important date?
And he died 32 weeks after his birthday. It's like the Jesuit order's got the 32 sun rays.
Good point.
And it was he died in Venesque, France, and that's got the 74, the 61, the 151, the conspiracy 227, and the Venesque's got the 32 as well. Like he died 32 weeks after his birthday, the 32 sun rays, Jesuit order.
Yeah, good catch. So he's very why are you gay? You can expect his first papal bull would be, why are you gay?
Yeah, it's interesting too because Vatican equals 25 too, 47 to 119.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, for this year, Rome, Italy.
Authority. Got the 47 as well. 52 like Pope. Pope has 52 and 25. Papacy. Yeah, Papacy has the 62-26 and 28, all the like God numbers. 26 like God, and then 28 being a perfect number, which is kind of associated with God.
Yeah, Pope, Vatican both got the 25.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting too. Black Pope equals 45, just like it's the square root of 2025.
Yeah.
And once again, all those things add to 9 there: the 81, the 36, the 162, the 45.
So 8 adds up to 9, everything too. As in Arturo. Arturo.
Oh.
It's got the 123 like Chitimbos. The current Black Pope of a different. Interestingly enough, wherever this is, wherever, cardinal of whatever he was, it doesn't say Jesuits, but he definitely wears the Jesuit colors. I don't know if that's just like an African. I would assume he's. Does it say? It said France, but there's like French-owned Africa, so French Guinea, yeah. Okay, so Guinea, yeah, West Africa. Horus.
France got
Sounds
that
like
4729.
Oh, really? Because did I spell that right? Oh no, I did almost. 28 again. 35 like Catholic.
Yeah, Paris, France got that 11056. Europe's got the 35, the 82, the 28, the 80.
Another Europe, yeah. Another 35 and 28. Like Oros, where he's from.
It's weird too because you take his first and last name, Raymond Tishimbo. It's got the 88 like Trump and the 83. And two, if you write out Pope Robert Sarah, it's got the 78 and the 84. Pope Sarah's got the 45, 45, 144, 99. Pope Robert's got the
Just
58.
Pope Sarah being the first black pope, and his name's Pope Sarah. Then again, he will have a different name. So it's not like anyone says Pope Bergoglio. But what is that just for 56? Huh. The head of the society, well, not the head of the Society of Jesus, but yeah, actually the head of the Society of Jesus equals 56.
Yeah, the Vatican equals 59. Vatican City's got 46, like sacrifice. It's interesting too. City and Rome got a lot of the same gematria. It's got the 51, the 20, the 24, 21,
57.
and the 57. I think
They're
it's
the
the
exact
same number.
same. It's
Yeah.
just different.
Yeah. Rome and City, very interesting. 57, 21,
Yeah, Roman has the
51.
25 as well.
Yeah, they're all in a different order with the same exact numbers. Very interesting. Yeah, Rome, Italy's got the 46 too, like Vatican City in the same cipher. Sacrifice got the 53 in there. Italy's got the 67, the 32, the 68, 22. It's very interesting. It's like Europe, the 80, the 35, the 82, the 28.
Well, he went to a Jesuit university to do his pontifical studies. I don't know how many of them are Jesuit, but there's only so many like Pope colleges that, they're all Catholic, obviously, but I don't know how many of them are Jesuit specifically. This one is, though. Well, it's got the 170 like Vatican City. And 163 is the 38th prime. 361, that doesn't look like a prime, no. Yeah, I had not, dude, that's so weird. When I texted you earlier about them saying the Pope is this could be the last Pope potentially or whatever, and what does that leave? What does that make? What are the Jesuits after that? I had no idea about the story. I wasn't like basing it off of like this or anything like that. This is strange. I did not even know about this. He went to a seminary in Nancy, France. Sounds like a novelist for like middle-aged women.
Yeah,
I'm reading my Nancy France novel.
Nancy France.
Oh man. Studium Biblicum Franciscanium of Jerusalem. We all know about that. Who doesn't know about that? Oh, 111, like his name, right? Or the ordination, the guy who ordinated him. 177, like the Jesuit order. Interesting. You don't often see a 300. It's just jarring. It's kind
No,
of
you
jarring.
really don't.
Just straight up 300, bitch.
Like the committee of 300.
Also like the 300 Spartans.
Yep.
Talk about Rome and the city. Sorry, I'm stretching and yawning so much. I'm a little sore from working yesterday, and then on top of getting up this early, I had trouble sleeping last night. It's going to be another long one tonight, that's for sure. This damn internet takes so long to upload these. I got to download it from the StreamYard. I mean, this is stuff that took like 20 minutes, like 25 minutes to download it and then also upload it. Just with Xfinity, this takes literal hours now. It's like about an hour, well, over an hour. But that's all right. I'm usually up pretty late. I do wish to change my sleeping habits, but sometimes it can be rough. Oh yeah, but this is a great point. I actually had no idea about this. This is definitely, I'm going to look more into this.
Yeah, and I figured, like I said, how he was, like I said, he was ordinated on the 201st day of the year, and that was the moon landing. And now we're talking about the moon landing and stuff too, so it fit in with all that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I got that right away. Hopefully that translated to the people listening, because these stories intermingle, and it's really just, you got the red thread throughout this too, interestingly enough. It's a big old M, huh? That Filipino president has been making the rounds. It's very strange. This is like older, but I don't know if it's this same guy. I just know that the Philippines president is making the rounds.
Yeah, it's weird too. Like I said, Venice, France got that 151-61, just like Holy Spirit 151-61. It's got the 119 and 56 too.
And then, of course, with all the France this, France that, yeah, Pope Francis, obviously.
Bubba Wallace's French fries.
Don't touch you got the French guinea, don't touch my French fries. Bubba. Damn, homie did some studying. How many schools can you go to? I mean, this is just like gibberish to read, unfortunately, but Sarah during the procession of the Holy Blood in Bruges, Belgium. So that's such a nice thing. Who's this guy? Hey, hey, who the hell are you? Got photobombed by like a German hacker or a Belgium hacker.
Like he should be Pinky's Plumbing.
Oh man, it's always just something. Dude, yeah, there's a lot surrounding that whole moon landing, which is interesting that I didn't even know about it. They just like slip it under the radar.
Yeah, that's what's amazing how we just connect all this, put it together. I mean,
Yeah, there's no doubt that his ordination on the same day as the moon landing, get the hell out of here. And he's, back in the news cycle when we apparently land on the moon again with an unmanned Firefly mission.
yeah. Firefly.
He definitely represents the dark side of the moon. Just kidding. Cheesy, my bad. Well, that's definitely worth looking more into, and I will do my best to as well. Just got a couple things I want to look into more, which is this whole moon landing. Black Pope. Oh, in quotations, put black.
Yeah, it's so weird how Robert Sarah, born on June 15th, like I said, that is the guy that coordinated him, Raymond Maria Chishimbo, born on August 15th. So
Yeah, just months apart.
yeah. In 25 years.
And he's got the 79, at Society of Jesus.
Yeah, it's got the 25 years. It's like Vatican 25, Pope 25.
Be interesting to hear him speak. See, what's his title? His former title. Actually, it probably still is his title. 88. 187, like Society of Jesus. I mean, it's pretty clear here. It's a little, but yeah, we'll see if that's a good point. I mean, put this guy in there. It checks so many other boxes that you wouldn't even care that he's behind the scenes. It's just a member of the Jesuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even, like, the common person wouldn't even care about it if you brought it up to him because it's a black pope. It's a literal black pope. So yeah, I could see this being definitely I mean, it looks like they brought this up at the tail end of Black History Month too. Am I wrong? When did this story come out that he could potentially be the next pope?
I'm not sure when it came out exactly. The one thing that really stuck out to me, like I said, too, Black
5
Pope
days
equals,
ago.
yeah, Black Pope equals 45. Square root of 2025 is 45.
I mean, him being the next pope means the last one gone. And there's still time for something to happen. I don't know. Who knows? There might be some like ratification of. I was reading somewhere that there is a large swath of people that disagree with, in like cardinals, that don't like Pope Francis and that think he's gone way overboard with the like liturgy and the gay rights and all that other stuff, and that he's just like pleasing the masses instead of being steadfast in the Christianity. So what if he's like kicked out? He doesn't need to die.
Yeah. He could be like Biden, just be too old.
Come on, man. He just, I don't know how to say come on, man in Italian, but come on, the man. Come on, the man. Come on,
Come on.
come on, the man. There's like a Andiamo amico. Andiamo amico.
Come on. Come on.
Andiamo amico.
Andiamo amico. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, if he ever says Andiamo amico, dude, I'm dead. I'll die before the Pope at that point. So I guess on a not a high note, but a note. On a note, there's this video. I don't think we're gonna watch the whole thing. I plan on watching it. You sent this to me earlier because we've talked about Stanley Meyer and his water engine multiple times. You've brought it up in more detail, and it's worth people just hearing about it, looking into it. But apparently, more recently, somebody had created a water-powered car, and they had their what the hell is it called? Where you have like they had it stolen. So I don't know how long this video is.
For the rest of my days,
It's
I'm
pretty
always
short. It's only like less than 2 minutes.
if I didn't have.
I've never seen such an amazing cleaning product. It's just like magic. This incredible product dissolves oven.
I took this out of video before the government took my water-powered car.
Running on water. So this is the water tank into here.
Oops.
So it's
Oopsie.
runs through.
I just
down.
wanted to comment that they had the Stranger Things music. It's like these TikTok minds are really fucked. It's just like, if we really wanted to, Austin, it's just like I could really start getting degenerate with it. I know the formula. It's just not what I want to be about. I could start putting out some like 1 minute videos with some Stranger Things music, some, the formula's out there. It's so easy to do. It's just, it doesn't need to be in, everything, dude. It doesn't need to be in everything. Just make a video with no music, no sound. Who cares? Just make the damn video. You don't got to add. Anyway.
My water-powered car.
Running on water. So this is the water tank. This holds 7.5 gallons of water. It recycles the water. So basically, as long as you keep this filled, it will continue running. This is your pump. This is the out of the tank into the pump to feed it to the front of the car through this. This is the return line. This is the drain. So with this line, if we follow this, it runs down underneath the car. Goes through the heat exchanger, which is under here, which cools the water so that it runs better. Comes up from this line and into the top of the motor. This I can't talk about too much because this is where everything happens, but it dumps into here, and that is what makes the car run on the water. The recycled water that isn't used runs through this line, which parallels the other line that was down here.
Sorry.
But it isn't used, which makes the car run on the water. The recycled water that is
Oh, it's okay. It's a sensor.
isn't used runs through this line, which parallels the other line that was down here. runs back up and into here. So it's a big loop, continues looping. And that's how we get this thing to work. Got some antifreeze.
Got some antifreeze. That's not
Got
water. But yeah, I don't know if there's any more information on it other than that quick video. Hopefully that comes through. At the very least, you can watch it and sort of understand what he's saying. He's pointing to the water and stuff like that. You could take it at face value. You could take it however you want it. I'll believe it, sure. Grain of salt, for sure. Just based on the information given, which makes sense that you can't give it all out. I get that part of it, but it's really sad. The commentary I can provide on this is it's sad that we're forced to like think of these things as pipe dreams, no pun intended. And where is this in reality? Why is this just not reality? How come it's not feasible? Like, even to what I'll say too is like a restructuring of society is necessary. It is necessary for whatever's coming next. It's necessary. Why does everything got to go so fast? I'm a fan of speed, but why does it have to go so fast at the cost of nothing? Wouldn't it be better to have water bikes and like water cars? Not to say that they can't make those go fast. I'm just saying, like, for the standard model of things to come, why wouldn't you look at everything, 700 horsepower, 400 foot-pound torque, you're going to fucking need this to pull yourself out of the mud that's coming to your town when the geological survey hits. Dodge. It's just like, shit, man. It's like the restructuring of society I'm talking about is like, if you live in a certain area, you don't fucking work a city away. You can't. You're not doing that anymore. That's not happening. You're not spending a quarter of your life traveling to your work and back. Like, that is ridiculous. It's actually fucking ridiculous that people do this. It's like your life is your life. That's all there is. I don't care how much money you're getting paid. When it's all said and done, you get to look back and be like, half of the time I spent making that money was just traveling to and fro. And this goes for even smaller scale too. It doesn't even have to be across city lines or state lines or anything like that. Things should be locally done. Things need to be more locally done. Your jobs are where you live. That's what we need to focus on. And anything outside of that, it makes perfect sense to have a nice water cycle, motorbike, or a car. The standards need to lower. Not really lower. Honestly, the standards need to raise, but people might take it as a lowering of standards because they like, weaving in and out and going fast and having that afforded to them. But in a world that doesn't need it, you don't need it. So, just restructure society and get your kicks on something else. There's enough vices in this world to not need speed. And I have the need for speed. So this is coming from somebody that wouldn't necessarily love initially giving that up, but I would sacrifice it in an instant for water cars and water vehicles.
Yeah, humanity does. It needs a massive overhaul. I mean, the technology's been out for 30 years or more, and it's been kind of lost and covered up. Now it's got to come back out to the the masses that I mean, some people know about it, some people don't, a lot of people don't, but there's some that do. But it's got to be to the point where every other person, it's like, or more people are talking about the water car or have a water car or something like that. Especially for what's coming, because it's like I was saying. I mean, the selling out, the sellouts, people that are around us. You got to look at how they're pulling these agendas off. I mean, it's all about big money and incentives. It's just like with the Tesla, you get Tesla people and get their incentives to drive a Cybertruck and drive your regular Tesla, whatever. I mean, it's like I seen. I think what was it today? I seen like a pink or purple like Cybertruck too. So it's like not only they pulling trailers, they're coming in different colors. So you can really next thing you know, they're going to be they're going to have NOS on them. They're going to have hydraulics. They're going to have
twin turbo.
Yeah.
Wings that come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Spinner wheels and
I put some spinners on my Cybertruck. That's a go. Squares. They're square spinners.
yeah, it's going to be just it is just amazing. Like I said, how you just have the society you do, like what people are going to do. It's just like you see it. It's like I said, whether you're watching these awful debates or it's just these other people we're up against in society, and this is what it is. It's everyone's just whatever they got to do to survive, get by. Like I said, they're going to just sign up for the police, the military. They're going to just go down these roads. They're going to do whatever, I mean, to get by or whatever they have to do. I mean, it's just, this is what you see. I mean, they're going to promote just total bullshit. They're going to promote Trump or MAGA or something stupid and make $10,000 in a day. Just like, and this is just what it is. I mean, this is what we're up against. I mean, it's unfortunate, but this is the average person and where most people are at. I mean, most people just really want to be entertained, or they don't want to really look into things, dig into things. And yeah, like you said, this is how you do that, is you have to come back with community and things being local. And because it wasn't that long ago, this is just how things were. I mean, people didn't really travel like they do now. I mean, now you got it's a lot easier to travel now because you got well, I mean, the newer cars aren't as reliable, but the older ones were like peak reliability and stuff, and technology. You get GPS and smartphones, whatever, to get around and do things. So we're more spread out. We're kind of all over now compared to what we used to be. But yeah, I mean, that's just what we got to do. We just got to find a way to get back to what we had. And if more people had ideas and wanted to, promote and be behind water cars and ideas like that, that's really what we need. I mean, we need people that are going to be not going for what everyone else is going for. People that are going for the system, going for the money, going for the incentives that really aren't even incentives. It's just like it's just the clown show. I mean, why would you want a Tesla or a Cybertruck just to promote Elon Musk? I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, it's just like all this stuff. I mean, it's just, and this is what it is. I mean, you don't have enough people that have enough pushback for what's happening and what's coming. I mean, you got so many people right now that are like I said, sadly, it is so weird, like how you brought up too, like with Trump. I mean, you got Vance and you got Musk. I mean, you got all these people right now. Everyone's distracted by everyone's hoping comes to save them and save the day, when it's just a really sad state of affairs. This is what people are tuning into and people want. But this is unfortunately where we are, and it's why you got people thinking that we really did go to the moon. You got people thinking that we really are sending astronauts out into space, and they think that they think NASA is legit. They think the TV is legit, and they think everything they're watching is legit, and just sucking it up like a big soap opera, like a big just a big it's like their favorite TV show. It's like I said, everything's just a reality TV show is what we're living in. It's what sells. It's all about how you can get enough people behind you to sell something or scam the people, whatever the newest scam or whatever, however you're going to get people to invest into whatever you're doing. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, just like I said, I mean, like I said, just look at the debates, look at the people that are watching these channels, look at these people. This is why these people are promoted on YouTube, why they have huge followings, and why they have so many views and so much money coming in. And that's why you can make $10,000 in a night, make $10,000 in a day, just have total garbage and frauds and losers around you, and that's what brings in the money. So that's what we're up against. We're up against the damn money system as always. It's all about that money, that fake monopoly paper that doesn't do anything for you, has no value, nothing.
Yep, and it goes hand in hand too with the, you mentioned it, I mentioned it, these jobs that literally just, it does not bring human value. There's no human value in a lot of these, investment jobs, these number pushers, these insurance agents, even real estate agents and stuff. These in between people that really, it comes back to the idea of usury and debt, and that is a driving force for business making. Like you have a business model that's made off of being a middleman. It's like, it's one thing to be like a middleman in some terms of you offer something that can't be achieved otherwise, but like offering it, I mean, physical, not I'm saying something physical, being a middleman. Like, say you have a farm and you have this particular soil that you make on your farm, and I don't know where I'm going with that. My point being is the whole idea of, it's like one thing to not be able to do something yourself, and so you need like this middleman, but not with the money system that you bring up. That would, in this, you just have these fake values, this fake idea of money that hasn't been bullion based, and I don't know if it ever was. It could have always just been a lie, as far as I'm concerned. And you get to then have these insurance agencies and all these different agencies that charge interest and charge the banks and all these things on the fake thing that they give you, a lot of the fake thing, because they're able to have more of the fake thing because they're charging a bunch of people agreed to sign up with them with interest. So they have fake capital in the fake thing, so they can wedge that capital against giving you more money as long as you agree to pay them the agreed upon interest, so they can continue to grow in this scheme. And it's just like, what the hell are we doing? You have one side of the thing, it's just like, there's nobody that, these people that are like signing up to these debt slave things, they don't have just capital that just is sitting there just accumulating. Yet you have these companies that have capital just sitting there accumulating, doing absolutely nothing, and there's no human value to it. There's no human value on the other end. It's always fake money, and they receive the fake money and give out the fake money. But the people that are giving the fake money have to earn the fake money. So they actually have human energy expenditure for fake money, whereas these in-between companies just get fake money and acquire fake money without doing anything, and they provide no value, no real human value. And that's the delineation I'm trying to make. It's one thing to use that fake value money in order to achieve something from somebody or get something from somebody else that also that offers a human value, but just these whole systems of, like I said, highlight insurance and all these other agencies that just charge interest on everything, single thing they do in order to accumulate the wealth that they get. These things need to be abolished today. Who is happy doing this? How come we don't stop it? How come we don't all just stop? I know why we don't. It's because that thought, it's like something's above us and something is beholdening us to do these things. But it's us. We are the ones doing that to ourselves. We are holding ourselves down. We are, the day we stop thinking there's 20 other people like us that are going to hold us accountable is the day that we start seeing 20 people do it and being like, oh, fuck it, then I'm not doing it either. Oh, that 20 turns into 30. That 30 turns into 50. That 50 turns into 150. That 150 turns into 2,000 people stop doing it. And they're like, oh, shit, it's GG's. You're never going to get it back. As soon as it'll take 2,000 people of the millions of people that have insurance to stop, like in a group in any city. 2,000 people can make enough noise on saying, yo, fuck this, don't do it anymore, that it would cause a snowball. The fact that we can't get 2 G's of people together to do that, it's the same things that's going on in our head. Like I just said, we think that we're going to be the ones holding us accountable, or that these systems and the IRS and all these systems are going to come down on us and it's going to be so hard after that. It's hard now. What are we going to do when we just keep feeding the beast? How is feeding the beast made anything better? It gets worse and worse every month, every year, every 3 months, every quarter, every trimester. I don't care how you calculate it. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. What makes it? Why not throw it all out? Throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't care. This world's going to be reset one way or another. It's either going to be at their hands or both, either naturally or or by the rulers of this world's hands. Are we just going to sit down and take it? Are we just going to roll over quietly and just slide into the next system and put on our meta glasses and jerk off for the next 30 years until we die?
All right. That's what I always say. That's where we're going. We're taking us to the bubble world. It's going to be the bubble world for everybody. I mean, it's like you can't get enough people to stop paying taxes. I mean, how many people do we have? And we have to go through this. So I like I said, I just keep getting lazier every year, and now I'm just putting it back till April 1st, and I'm just waiting until April 1st and booking my appointments on that day and making my appointments in March because it's like, yeah, I can't get myself to do it no more. It's just the fact people just are still doing it. They're still giving the government, their money and just still paying these fraud insurance companies that don't do shit for you. They don't help you out. They don't. Everything you do, it's just like I said, my car got stolen and nothing came out of that. They shot this one up. They didn't even want to do their job, and I'm just sitting there and trying to get drop my car off and stuff to the window place and stuff. And he's like, yeah, all you have to do, Austin, is really push a button. That's all you have to do. The insurance company just has to approve it and just push a button. That's all you have to do, and then it's good to go. And just like, and he had to double check with them how many times, go back and say, hey, are you going to approve this? You're going to do this? It's like, Christ, I'm paying full fucking coverage for you to do a fucking job where it's I have a perfect driving record, never have any issues. It's like someone shoots out my windows, I pay you full fucking coverage and you can't even do your fucking job. It's like I do my job every day. It's like I do my job every day, all the time. I'm doing what I need to do, and it's like you can't even do this, and I'm paying you all this money. It's just like, yeah, this shit's a scam. It's a fraud. It's just a crock of shit. And it's just sadly people just keep paying for it and dealing with it and taking up the ass. And it's just it's like I always say, that's the sad part, is it's just like if everyone could be like us or do what we're doing, or it's just people just we just don't have enough people. We don't have enough people pushing back. Don't have enough people that care enough. Too many people just want to go along to get along, and they just want this to continue. And I'm just the exact opposite way. I don't want it to continue. I can't stand another second of it. It's too much.
Yep, it really is the fear factor. And we all as a community, we need to break through it, because there's enough people in said communities to get these things on in the minds of the common people, that things are moving and shaking and it's not going according to the status quo anymore. The fact that it doesn't ever boil up to that echelon of society, the normies, if you will, it's really sad that we can't make that difference. And it's not saying we can't. It's I should say we haven't. And we're going to do our due diligence, and we're only going to keep going. And yeah, we're just sitting here bullshitting on a video now, but we have plans, and the best things we can do is take care of the things that are close to us, and what time is provided to give out that energy to quote unquote save the world, because we don't owe anybody anything. And yet in my head, I feel like I do. So it really is coming from a place of like a selfless place. It's selfish and selfless. I do not want to go to war with a bunch of people that don't think we're in a war. I don't want to fight that war. Nobody would. And that's like the whole crab in the bucket thing. It's not going to be worth it when the day comes if nobody is listening. We need a standing army, not necessarily saying we need to start woohoo right this minute. I'm just saying it needs to be, we need to have prepared people. And if we had a large prepared mass of people, that can make the waves that make the tsunami. But without it, we just got to keep working. And what we're doing is what we can do at this moment. And we only plan on doing more and more and more and more. And like I said, it's not owed to a single person, nor is it owed to me, nor is it owed to you. But I feel a sense of something. I don't know who imbued it into me or what imbued it into me. And that's why there is such a thing as, outward thinking about who you are and what you are, is because there's things that are imbued in you that you cannot explain. And I see this world going the way it is, and I cannot sit back and just watch everybody. I'm sure I could, but would I be okay with that? No. And why I wouldn't be okay with it? I don't know, but I'm not. So I'm not going to. And we'll see where that goes, and we'll see where that takes us.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've never been this way either. I can't just sit back and watch this and have it go on. I mean, I've been this way my whole life, like you said. I don't know what it is. I don't know what determines it and how it all plays out. Because it's like I was just born this way. I threw my stuff in the garbage in preschool, and just been the same way ever since I was 4 years old. It's just been this way my whole life. It's just born to rebel against the system, and born to just be who I am, just not like everyone else. Just can't be like everyone else, and don't want to be. And there just got to be somehow more people like us that just find a way, or just enough has to bother them or has to happen to them, and they just snap out of it, or just whatever it takes is just get enough people on our side to fight against all this. Because it's just like I said, we're just it's frustrating and annoying when it's like you're just so rare, and there's just not enough of you, and it's just like everybody else is just, like I said, just stuck in their ways and stuck in down their alleyways, and just who they are and what they do. It's just got to get more people to open the mind and come out of that big shell they're in, and just start pushing back, kicking back, doing whatever they can. Because it's just, before you know it, we're all going to be buried, and we're all going to be under the 100% total control that they plan on having, especially this year in 2025, 100% control of the world. So we're on the cusp right now, getting knocked out.
Yeah, if anyone was wondering, when you watch that press briefing or that meeting with Zelensky, where's Zelensky? Just so you know, I'm not saying we're Ukraine. The characters being played are the government versus the world. And we don't have the cards. We don't got the cards.
Yeah.
They have all the cards. We don't have the cards. I say this a lot because, I've talked to you about it. Movies are talking to you. They're not talking to the person in the movie. It's something they love doing. That they've always loved doing that. That's the goal of the movie. But in the same way, these things are too. We don't have any of the cards, and right now we're not even at the table playing the game. We don't got the chips. Can't even get in the casino.
Yeah.
We're not even in the parking lot. Our car's not running because we ran out of water. They stole our water card. So we really need to get some agency and figure it out, because together it's not about money. Sure, money might be able to help certain things, and in some instances it is about money. Logistically, some things are about money, 100%. But you get enough people with the goal of doing something together communally, the money will be the last thing that's necessary at that point. It might, maybe there's money it takes to start something, maybe, I don't know. But the human want and will is going to be more important than any amount of money ever can be. And I feel like that's a good mic drop on tonight's episode. But yeah, as usual, we have the scrolling thing at the bottom here. It's also up above my finger. Our email, if you have anything you want to talk about, any ideas for further episodes. We do plan on bringing back the themes to our episodes. So if you have any good ideas for themes, it can be anything, literally anything. Whether or not it becomes the whole episode theme or just something we talk about, that is determined by me and Austin. But feel free to leave it down there in the comments as well. And yep, we will. So yeah, we'll be touching back next week. We'll see how this next NASCAR race goes. We have a couple of predictions in, potential three-peat, maybe a Bubba sighting.
Yeah.
We'll see. If that lands, dude, I don't know. I don't know. This might get crazy. We might just be the NASCAR guys from here on out.
We might be.
All right, but yeah, it's been fun. And till next week. Have a good one, guys.
Yep. Peace.